All right. Good morning. What's up, Grounds crew? 10:03, Monday, May 4th. Sorry, I was a bit late. Had to make this coffee. Got a lot going on today. I am in my golf outfit, although I am not playing golf today. Just found out I'm playing tomorrow with Dylan Betances, so I'll play tomorrow with him. Show might be interrupted tomorrow. Might have to move it up or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Either way, not going to play today. So I hope everybody's good. This is the first thing that we should talk about really quick. My dad's on it. Sad day for Yankees fans. Rest in peace, John Sterling. Yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up listening to John every night. Michael Kay at the time and John Sterling, and then later John and Susan. Obviously, Susan was always a part of the broadcast too, but then I got to know John a little bit. As a Yankee, he'd fly on the planes. You meet him, you talk to him a little bit. All the musical theater references, the theatrics of his calls, probably not something that everybody around the nation understood, but for us, he was a part of the soundtrack of everyday life and Yankee baseball. So, sad day a little bit, obviously for Yankee fans, but also a celebration of a truly great baseball broadcasting life, radio life, John Sterling. So that's where we're at as we head into today. Okay, the screen is working. That was on the heels of me making my video yesterday on Trey Gibson, who I thought looked okay. I need to see him more. Slider's obviously a good pitch. Other than that, he threw a lot of pitches down the middle, and I'm not in love with a ton of his pitches. Got good breaking stuff. So we'll just wait. We'll see him more. But it was cool to get to know a guy during his first major league start, which was pretty cool. All right, back to here because there's a lot of nice things in the chat here about John Sterling. So I'm just going to post them all real quick. Just so we can get through that. Yankees should wear a patch for Sterling. I bet you they'll have something in the mix. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me at all. John Sterling shaped my childhood summers. Totally agree. Hell, we didn't always understand them, but John didn't care. You learned to lean in. That's totally true. Amen to that. No doubt about it. All right, let's move on to the baseball that did happen yesterday. Good day of baseball all around, I'd say, for the most part. All right, let's rip through the standings here as we are sitting here on May 4th. All right, Yankees 23-11, game and a half up on Tampa. Yankees have looked really like the class of the AL so far. But something negative will happen at some point. But they're making all the right calls right now. They option Volpe to AAA makes sense. As much as I love Anthony and I think he can still be a good player. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Caballero's doing a great job at short. They don't want to rock the boat. They're winning almost every game, so they should stay where they are and keep going. They have a chance to do the 4-game sweep of Baltimore tonight. Boston is in last 10 back. Seems like they're kind of spinning their tires still. 13-21. Baltimore's also been highly disappointing. They're 15-19. Can the Blue Jays get to 500 shortly and then work their way back into contention? I say yes, but it is interesting that right now Yankees and Rays are way ahead of everybody else so far. Cleveland, this is a good question. Penny for Lombard Jr.'s thoughts on Volpe being in AAA now. Yeah, I don't know. How are they going to work that? They're going to move guys around. I mean, they're certainly not going to revert and send Jacob back to, George Lombard Jr. back to AA. I keep saying Jacob, that's his brother. I don't know. This remains to be seen. But you know what? These are good problems to have for an organization. They got a couple guys that they like, potentially at short, especially defensively. All right, AL Central, Cleveland and Detroit tied at the top. Detroit used that pitching chaos last night on Sunday Night Baseball. They look like they were in trouble versus Jack Leiter. I have Leiter on the description today, so we'll still look at him. But the Tigers did come out on top of there. They're both a game over 500. Minnesota's now in last, 15-20, 3 back. Royals have played better baseball, 7-3 in the last 10, but they're still creeping their way back in there. and White Sox are in the mid table right now. West, A's 18 and 16. This is such a weird division. The only team with a positive run differential is the Mariners. That's who we think is going to win this division. Even still, they have some interesting dilemmas here because Cade Anderson has looked incredible in AAA so far. So I'm wondering about that. How soon he gets up there, and if there's even any room for him on that roster. Angels are last. They look really bad. They just dropped 2 out of 3 to the Mets. They're 13 and 22. It's their bullpen. Their bullpen. They can't win any games that are close right now. All right, NL East, Braves, insanely hot, 25 and 10. They just swept the Rockies. They are 15 games over 500 this early in the year. They are the class of the major leagues right now at plus 81 differential. Marlins in second, 16 and 18, and the Mets are pulling up the rear at 12 and 22. They go to Colorado now. If they can win this series, they can get a little momentum. So this is a big series just for momentum's sake. They're not going to be anywhere close to the top of the standings for a bit, but they need a little momentum. If they can win this series in Colorado, easier said than done, then they'll have achieved some level of momentum. All right, NL Central, Cubs, 2 up on the Cardinals. Those are the 2 guys you're used to seeing at the top of this division traditionally, although this is a rebuilding year for the Cardinals and not for the Cubs. So interesting there. Again, this division has been great throughout. Pittsburgh, 19 and 16, is in last place. And they all have great run differentials except for the Reds. Cardinals are neutral, but wow. Crazy. 3 teams better than plus 30 here. NL West, Dodgers 21 and 13, half game up on the Padres, who I will be seeing on Thursday night. I'm doing the game for ESPN Thursday night. Padres, Cardinals in San Diego. Giants are in last, 13 and 21. They're 2 and 8 in their last 10. They've lost 6 in a row, and they look really, really bad right now. So don't really know what to say. There's a couple teams. Strug City. Let me get in the chat here, and then we'll get popping on some stuff from yesterday. Thoughts on the locker room conflict with the Red Sox? Meyer and Contreras arguing via interview, kind of. So, like, Contreras, this kind of comes with the Contreras experience. I think he rubs people the wrong way quite a bit, even on his own team. You know, there was like almost everybody was pissed at him when he got to the Cardinals at first. I think he's a good player who's very competitive. I think older players naturally get annoyed when they're losing and they see a lot of young guys around. It's easy to accuse the young guys. I think Meyer's feeling that a little bit, but at the same time, I feel like he's taking accountability. At the same time, Meyer's like, I feel like that's just an excuse, you know, to blame the young guys, but we need to produce. We're here in the big leagues right now. So I think he sort of half took accountability there, Meyer. Like, the young guys, even though we're young, we need to play better, and who cares that we're young, but also refuted what his veteran teammates said. And obviously in Boston, that's the way it's going to be shaped. And so we'll see. But man, Red Sox is an interesting group to say the least. I was just on the phone with the head of NBC Sports a little while ago getting his feedback, and he asked me how to fix the Red Sox, and I said, "Good luck, man. I don't really know." We'll see. We have to watch it. All right, I do think Lombard's best shot at the big league roster this year is third base. I don't really think we're going to see him without injury, but we'll see. Not a Yankees fan at all, but love the Sterling and those calls. Anytime they got a new player, I couldn't wait to hear the call. Obviously, some of the iconic ones. An A-bomb from A-Rod. Robbie Cano, Don't You Know. There's the whole French thing he does with Giancarlo. He had a whole French thing with Russell Martin. Or maybe it's not French with Giancarlo, but he's got a whole thing in another language. There's a text message to Shara. You're on the mark to Shara. I don't know. He's had a lot of great ones. Obviously, the Yankees win. Those are all iconic John Sterling isms. Also, maybe Volpe goes to second at some point if Jazz doesn't come back to the Bronx. Possibility. Definitely a possibility. The Fish call up top prospect Joe Mack. Yep, Joe Mack up, Ramirez down. So we'll see what that means. Angels, DFA, Romano, and the bullpen got worse. Man, their bullpen is in tough spot. Tough spot. You had John Sterling. I had Lon Simmons. Okay, that's some Bay Area stuff, Victoria. Calling out guys for playing the game the right way as the leader the Sox needed. Okay. Finally managed to make it to the live stream. Yay for UK public holidays. Appreciate it. Coming from across the pond. Thank you guys very much. Very, very much. Aren't the young guys playing terribly, though? But they are young, and I don't think he said it's their fault. He said they haven't gone through slumps before. I don't know. You know, the Red Sox are it's like blood in the water to these sharks out there in Red Sox Nation in terms of the writing. They're gonna hop on any narrative right now, and the reality is we have no idea the relationship between Contreras and these young bucks. So let's just wait and watch the show. Ayo, Yankees fan here, but man, Orioles can't develop their farm players in the big leagues. Feels like they're getting worse year by year. Yeah, man, they're having a tough series. Yankees are totally exposing them right now. The pitching's not where they thought it would be at this moment in the season. Helsley's now on the IL. You know, Grayson they traded away. Now they got, you know, Trey Gibson up there. He doesn't quite look ready to me. They're in an interesting spot. They're in an interesting spot right now. Bernie goes boom, a back-to-back and a belly-to-belly, right? For back-to-back home runs. Those are always good. A ribby for Robbie. We got some good ones in the chat here. The sun will come out on Tanaka. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love that. It's Italian for Stanton. Okay. Burn, baby, burn. That's a good one. Thoughts on Volpe actually being sent down? I mean, look, it's the right move right now. He's got no spot on the roster. He needs to play every day. Can't be a backup infielder at the moment. He'll come up later, I'm sure. But yeah, it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that's where we're at. Laugh my ass off. Orioles rotation thought they would get them to the playoffs. Yeah, it's just they're struggling, man. They're struggling. They're struggling big time. Ooh, on vacation in Puerto Rico, drinking my cup of coffee. Let's go. Enjoy it down there. All right. Let's get it going. I think Jane knows what the Sox Nation coverage is all about. They cherry-pick the drama. Wilson Contreras went up to a pitcher on the mound when he needed a break and some motivation. It was awesome to see. Ranger Suarez hurt. That is more of a concern to me long-term if you're looking at the Sox. All right, let's check our Baseball and Coffee sorter and see what we got for this morning going on here. Sunday, here are our batters of the day. Mark Vientos, who we're going to take a look at today, powered the Mets big time with a 2-home run performance. Mickey Moniak, also 2 dingers. Jonah Heim had a big day, 5 RBIs. There's a couple guys with a bunch of hits. On the pitching side of things, Ashcraft, Burns, Luzardo, Leiter, all 4 of those guys made it onto the thumb today, as well as Clay Holmes. I was thinking about maybe getting into a little bit here. So let's start with the Mets. They win a series yesterday versus the Angels. So look, this was a series they absolutely had to win. Absolutely had to win. You think you're playing bad, the Angels are playing worse right now. I've seen it up close. They got some hitting, but overall, the Angels pitching is really in a bad spot. So they needed a hero yesterday. It turned out to be Mark Vientos with the 2 pumps, and then also Clay Holmes on the mound. He's been quietly outstanding this year. All the talk about McLean has kind of clouded ourselves from noticing how good Clay Holmes has been. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 99 pitches. He's pitching deep into the game consistently. Here's what everything looks like on Clay's chart at the moment. 93rd percentile ground balls. He's now favoring the sinker way more in the usage, and I think that's allowing him to get deeper into the games, and he's giving himself a chance to have easier innings. He's at a .98 whip. That was sort of the problem last year. Too many base runners, too many pitches. 1.30 whip last year. You just look at the usage. Last year he was at 41% sinker. This year he's already at 50% sinker. So that's a big move up the line, in my opinion. So we'll watch Holmes first, because he's been very impressive, and kind of the way he's going about it with this sinker heavy approach is kind of, the sinker's back. If you've got a good sinker, it's back. You're going to get quick outs. We've seen it throughout the league. Plus, they did him a huge favor. 86 pitches versus righties, 13 versus lefties. This is the team you want to face if you're a right-hander versus righties, is the Angels. So Clay got that opportunity yesterday. Still got 45% chase. So let's hop into this one. Angels, Mets. We got to highlight the Mets when they do something good. Obviously, I know we got a lot of Mets fans hanging out in the chat early. So he starts it off with an 11-pitch walk, which we won't waste our time on. But amazing, when you start the game with an 11-pitch walk, you still make it into the 7th inning. All right, second batter of the game, 3-2, also a walk. So walk to open the game. Not a good sign. And he's 17 pitches in with 2 walks and nobody on in the first, so he's got to dig deep. Let's watch all the pitches and how he digs deep here in the first. First pitch, sinker to Shanuel, swing and miss. Second pitch, sinker, looking for that double play ball here. Foul ball, and then he's going to go to the kick change and get the strikeout. So immediately gets a punch out after the 2 walks. So that was clutch. 3-pitch punch out. Now, can you see Clay's grip and glove? It's a little too late. You can see that's the sinker, but you can see the kick change. All right, he's got it pretty well hidden, but as soon as the hand moves, you can see it. It's too late, though, to flash it. All right, no concern there. So 1 out, 2 on. Here's Soler. Going to pound that sinker at Soler. Looked like it was very hot out based on the way the air looks on the camera here. There's a knee-buckling curveball, so he gets himself to 0-2. We've also talked about how the breaking balls have been more effective when he throws them less. This isn't rocket science, but if you don't expose something so much, guys have a tough time with it. So now that Clay is sinker, 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 the breaking balls tend to really, really be good. All right, this should have been a double play ball, but they have him pulled in the hole, so that's a single through. That is going to score the first run. He's still on damage control here. Here's Joe Adell. Sinker swings over the top of that, and then another sinker here. And now they're going to be able to get the double play. So he was shooting for that the whole time. Didn't get the ground ball he needed. They do cash 1 run in the first, despite the 2 walks. And now let's see him get some quick outs from here on out. Here's an out on a sinker. Josh Lowe off the end of the bat. Such a good pitch. Such an outlier pitch. All right, here's that 3rd walk. So after this, he walks nobody the rest of the game, even though that was a strike. They don't challenge it, so he shouldn't have had this walk. But Vaughn Grissom does get on. And then here's another single to Oswald Peraza. Mets beating the Angels should only count as half a win with that bullpen. Nah, they're full wins. I mean, I hear you, but they're full wins. Sometimes in baseball, you simply have to beat the teams you're better than. You just have to. And this is a team, they are better than them on paper. They have to beat this team. All right, so he gets the double play there. So both of the first 2 innings end with double plays. Now there's a strikeout on a right-on-right curveball to Rivero. How did he get there? Was there a sweeper prior to this? Yeah, that makes sense. So sinker, sweeper, sweeper. Let's see the foul ball that then he switches to curveball on. Interesting. They just switch it straight to curveball off of that, and he does get it below the zone. He's always been able to, in theory, throw a good curveball because he has the high release, so I'm glad to see him leaning into that. All right, there's 1 out there. There's a sinker to Neto, 2nd time through the order here. Jams him. Bat flips the pop-up. Out to MJ Melendez. 2 outs there. And then another hit here. Base hit by Trout. So what did Trout go? Sinker, sinker here? Curveball, sinker?
In his career. You hardly ever see Zach in a prolonged slump.
All right, curveball, ball, sinker. Does get him on the ground, but he's able to pound it through the zone. Just hits it hard. It's going to be real interesting now that Mauricio's out, so Bichette is now playing full-time shortstop, what the metrics look like on Bo at short. I'm not very optimistic, but, clearly they didn't want him to play short, and now they have him playing short. All right, there's a line out to right to Benj, and he's through 3. All the outs coming on sinkers in that inning that were in play, and then the 1 curveball for the strikeout. Here's another curveball for a strikeout to Soler. That's dirty. This is a really good pitch for him. Really good pitch for him. Ooh, kick change coming here. That's nasty. So 2 punchies to start off this inning, and then a 1-pitch out on a sinker. Off the end, flare out. So a really dominant inning there. All right, 5th inning.
Couple of hits, but only 1 run today.
A lot of 1 and 2 pitch at bats that I'm seeing so far, which is what he needs. Curveball over to Beatty. Nice out there. Here's a quick strikeout of Peraza on the curveball. Curveball, he definitely featured the curveball versus righties in some spots, which, you know, is not traditional at the moment, but, or not normal, I would say, at the moment, but very effective. There's a hit on a sweeper from Sebastian Rivera. Gets it in for a 2-out knock, and then we're back to Neto again. He's going to get him out on a sinker just like he did the first time, the last time. Ground ball back over to Beatty. He looks comfortable at third to me. And that's it for the 5th. On to the 6th. 3-pitch strikeout of Trout, so let's watch it. First pitch, sinker in. That's what I'm worried about is Bichette's range now. I just think ground balls are going to be getting through a lot. And then he's going to punch him out looking with a changeup. Just a weird pitch right down the middle. Mike Trout frozen. 2 outs. And then a 2-pitch out. Nope. Another hit here. Shanuel. So that's twice now that Shanuel's hit a front door sinker hard to right. This one, he didn't hit it as hard as the last one, so it drops in front of bench. I'm surprised they went back to that. All right, 1 out, man on first. And see if he can get another double play here. Soler. Ooh, actually, pretty good swing. And a nice play by Melendez. Good beat on that. That could have changed the game. That was a very, very key play by Melendez. Soler just quite doesn't hit it hard enough to burn him. But this had the gap written all over it, huh? Pretty good route. Nice diagonal back for MJ. Not a great jump, but a very efficient route, and he's able to squeeze it. So good play there. And then he's going to end the 6th here on a curveball to Joe Adele. Curveball been very effective in this game. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. Bad jump, but good route. Bad jump, but very efficient route. Like, his direction was perfect. Like a perfect diagonal over and back. All right, 7th inning. Pops out for the 7th inning. Gonna get an out here on low. Now, I thought this was a homer off the bat when I was watching it, but he just doesn't quite get it. 99-9. Good play by Benj. Up against the wall. Would not have been a home run. So that's the first out of the 7th, as really the Mets are in a spot where they're going to try to push some of their guys, you know, as deep as they can, because they don't really trust the bullpen right now. But that was key, as was this play by Bichette. Really good throw. This was probably about as good a play as you'll see Bo make. It helps that he didn't have to go very far, but he was able to turn and make a pretty good throw to get the out here. And a good stretch over there by Vientos to get Grissom. So 2 outs in the 7th. Then he does give up a 2-out, 2-strike hit here to Peraza. Just another one that, you know, this is, I think, unfortunately going to be an issue with the Mets. You know, their defense now is pretty weak all along the infield, especially at first and at short now. And this is a poor pick by Vientos. It's a 1-hopper, but he tries to play it like an in-between hop. And that allows that guy to get on. So Clay would have been through 7. Unfortunately, he doesn't get through 7 because of that. But overall, really good performance. Weaver did bail him out with a big strikeout here. Bail the Mets out, I should say, with a big strikeout of Moncada to open the 7th. And then they would go ahead and tack on some runs. And then Devin didn't have to pitch. They just used Brooks to close it out. But it does bear mentioning that this this Holmes curveball was very effective in this game. It was the 2nd most used pitch versus righties. Traditionally, and I can't even call it tradition because it's all new. All these pitches are sort of new, and a lot of these thoughts are new thoughts. But you would think he would be sinker sweeper mostly versus righties, but he also threw 21 curveballs versus righties, which I find very interesting. Sort of pairing them both together. Curveball's got a ton more depth on it and less horizontal. So, I don't know. Maybe he just had a feel for it and he rode it. Didn't get a huge amount of whiff, but there was also nothing good that happened on curveball. They didn't get any hits on curveballs, and he also got 3 whiffs on curveballs. So, curveball was major. Sinker and curveball is what pushed him through. And let's just see if he sticks with this. Or not. I think the biggest adjustment he's made is just trusting that sinker more. Just realizing how good the sinker is. And I'm just going to keep spamming the sinker. All right, on the other side of things, it's 2 home runs from this guy, Swaggy V, who's now up to 4 homers on the year, 737 OPS. Seems like he's playing every day now. Hopefully he can get himself into a little bit of a groove. They called that an error. Should be an error. But on who? On Bo or Vientos? The thing is like in the big leagues, guys make scoops so easily you don't even notice it. So you do notice it when people don't make scoops. You know, it's not an easy skill, but a lot of the big league first basemen are that good. So anyway, here's Swaggy V on the season, -3 defensively. Offensively, still spinning his tires, but we know the talent's in there. I'm glad to see he's getting a little bit more runway. So he goes up and hits 2 major home runs yesterday. They needed him. They needed a guy to step up, especially down here, not at the tippy top of the order. So here's the first at-bat with the first home run off Kashanwitz. This made it 2-1 Mets. First pitch, sinker up in. Second pitch, sinker. Pulled away, so a nice 2-0 count, and now he's going to get a third sinker in a row. This is just, you're doing him a favor, and he's super on time for that down-in sinker and blast that ball dead center out. See you later. Off the rocks. Absolute tank. 107 at 29, 427 feet, and the Mets take the 2-1 lead. For the life of me, I can't understand why you would throw him 3 sinkers in a row here, but they do, and Mark knows what to do with it. He hits the ball as hard as anybody when he's right, and that's what he did there. Big-time swing. Perfectly on time for that one. So good swing there. All right, out of here to the second home run. This one broke the game open. It's off Sandlin, who came in. I remember him from Cleveland. I didn't even know he was on the Angels, but he came in a spot yesterday looking to keep it close, and he was not able to accomplish that mission. So slider, 2-0. Another guy getting to a poor count with Swaggy V. Slider again. And now he's going to get slider again. So in both at-bats, he saw the same shape a bunch of times in a row. Maybe mix it up a little bit, but if you're a Met fan, don't mix it up a little bit, as Swaggy takes him out to left on the up-in slider sweeper, 103 at 27. And that kind of ended the game. That made it 5-1. That one put it out of reach. Interesting out here. So it's currently 3-1, man on second. The ball leaves the bat. Who's out there throwing? Clearly Brooks. I don't see no sign of Devin Williams. So Brooks Raley was coming in either way to close out this game. That's interesting to note. But a good swing. Again, you get 4 in a row, and he bang-a-tangs this pitch out into the bullpen area. Let's see it from the side. He's one of the few guys on the Mets that has the ability to really elevate this offense for a stretch. He can go on a real tear. We've seen it before. Hopefully this is the start of it once again. All right, let's hop in the chat. Pete scoops that, no issue. I mean, Pete was a great scooper. You got to give that. One of the best in the league. You know, one of the better ones. Oh, you want to watch Benj's catch? This also was major. Good call, Maya. This was also a major play in the ninth. You know, who knows? This ball gets down. Who knows? You know, maybe, you know, they're kind of a little bit more back in it, a little bit more panic. But Benj, I mean, what a talk about a great jump and a great leap to cut that down. That's definitely a triple if that gets by him. Now, granted, they have him playing over a little bit to the right, but he gets a great jump off the bat here. Yes, with a really good pre-pitch. That's a hell of a play. That's a 5-star play if I've ever seen one. I want you guys to real quick check out the pre-pitch. So a lot of guys do this. You take like that little hop, and so watch Benj over here. It's hard to see him because we're way glued in here. But he's way over here in the corner. Yeah, he's over here. All right, so check him out. Right as the pitch comes, watch him do a little hop. Hop, and then go. That's the move. So you hit the ground and you immediately make a quick pulse reaction to getting after a pitch, and that really helped him. He needed every millisecond of timing to be able to get to this ball. So sick play by Benj, and that's the other part of his game. You know, he's a tremendous defender, base runner. Hitting is slowly starting to come around, but you're going to have a real all-around player on your hands. He's got a great arm. If he can bring up the hitting a little bit, he had a good day yesterday. Got on base 3 times out of 4 times up at the plate. You're going to have a real two-way monster on your hands. Look at that. He's already 4 outs above average on defense. He's got tremendous arm strength. He's fast. His base running's been good. Above average base running value and fielding value. It's just the batting, which seems to be on the upswing. So good job mentioning that, Maya, in the chat. I guess they called that an error on Bo. It sucks. I mean, he bounced it on purpose, and then they don't make the play. But that's what you get. You know, rarely are they going to charge that on the first baseman. Yep, Chase Burns is coming. Waste Trey, he is coming. Benj had a really good game. 2 walks, RBI, and was amazing defensively. Pulchritudinous. I can't even say that, but that's a Gary Cohen-ism right there. Sandlin was on the Jays last year, got hurt. Mark hits high pitches very well. Dustin Pedroia was a hop guy. Most guys are, but in the outfield, a lot of times guys get lazy with their hops. So it was good to see Benj not getting lazy there. Classic Gary on the call. And yeah, you got to give Carson some credit for his adjustments here in the early going. All right, next up, we're going to head right to Chase Burns. There was a request for Chase Burns. He's on the list. He had one of the best games yesterday. Actually, we're going to watch both pitchers in this game, as this was a great duel between Ashcraft and Burns. So since Ashcraft came out on top, we're going to watch Burns, even though Burns didn't get the L. We'll watch Burns first, Ashcraft second. This is what Chase Burns is looking like at the moment. This kid's a stud. Absolute stud. And right now he's doing it with 2 pitches. Wait till he implements the changeup a little more. You know a sinker's on the horizon at some point, but he's got a great fastball. He's got a friggin' unbelievable slider. One of the best sliders in the game. Max Meyer, who we watched the other night, he's got 2 of the best sliders in the game, but Chase Burns has a very similar gyro to Max Meyer, perhaps even a little bit better, and that's what we're working with when you're talking about Chase Burns. So anyway, that's what Burns's savant page is looking like, and then here's the breakdown. I mentioned he's basically doing it with 2 pitches right now. It doesn't matter who's up there. He threw 60 pitches versus lefties, only 34 versus righties. And yet he's still dominated anyway. 55% whiff on his slider yesterday. That's just obscene. 12 misses on sliders. So he ends up throwing 47 heaters, 40 sliders, and 7 combos. Average 98 on the heater. We all know the heater's got perceived cut to it. The slider's insane. And then the changeup, which I think is a very useful pitch, but he only threw it a little bit. All right. 63% first pitch strike, 35% chase, blah, blah, blah. Let's get on to it. Reds and Pirates. This was a very, very good game. 1-0 game. Chase Burns is the first one. Ashcraft we will watch second. All right, Chasey Burns actually starts off this game with a hit, a weird hit by O'Neal Cruz. Sal Stewart can't make that play. Next up, a 9-pitch at-bat. He's going to finish B-Lau with the slider. Disgusting.
That is a swing and a miss.
Plus, Burns has a high arm slot. So the fact that... So we've talked a lot about arm slot relative to how your pitches move and how there are certain pitchers that are more of an certain pitches that if you can create the movement from the slot, they're more of an outlier high up or low down, right, with your arm angle. So he's high up. So he's going to be able to get on top of his slider and create this downward angle out of hand either way. And I think that hides the shape of the slider a little bit. And then by the time you see it really takes off down, it's too late. So he's amazing at getting chased below the zone. And that's what we see right here to B-Lau. Dirty pitch. All right, one out there, man on second. Here comes another strikeout, also on a slider to Reynolds. Basically the same pitch. Really nasty again. See you later. And then he's going to punch his way out of it with another slider here to Ryan O'Hearn. So punches the side with sliders in the first, all lefties, all below zone, all filthy, all between about 91, and this one's almost 93. He's just dirty. He really is. He's really, really good. It's amazing how fast these 2024's draftees have impacted the big leagues. So, nasty. All right, on to the second inning. He's going to get an out here on a slider. So all of the first 4 outs of the games are on sliders. Roll over to third. All right, this one's a fastball. 99 miles an hour to Ozuna. It's got great carry. Doesn't have much arm side, but it's great carry, which I also think the combination of the not a lot arm side really helps him hide his slider. But those two pitches, they just pair so well together that you kind of need him to make some mistakes for you like that, and you need to capitalize. Otherwise, he's going to be getting you fishing all day low below the zone on that slider. All right, second inning was a breeze. Third inning, another out on a slider. Here's Connor, who's actually been swinging it a lot better lately, but Chase Burns slider, he's not on that, chops it out. Here's a fastball to Joey Bart. See, that's the type of pitch you got to pounce on. Middle down, fastball. Hits it decent, but right at the fielder. Yep, 102-3. And then he's going to get another out here, just living 98-99. Neil Cruz beat by that fastball. There's Sal. Love me some Sal. Sal Stewart, that is. All right, third inning was a breeze. Fourth inning, here's a changeup. Ooh, gets B-Low to pop up on the changeup. So the one thing the changeup's doing for him is it's something that goes way to the right. His slider goes left and down. His fastball appears to go a little left, at least from the batter's perspective, and then this pitch goes way to the right. So that's what this changeup does. It's a change of pace, and it goes the other direction. I'm pretty confident he'll use it more and more as time goes on. I'm not worried about his lack of induced vertical break drop on his changeup. I think it's fine from his arm slot. So it comes down to command. And right now the league will tell him when he needs to throw it more. So that's 2 outs in the fourth. That's 1 out in the fourth, excuse me. Here's another strikeout of Reynolds, below zone. Just obliterates Reynolds. Let's watch this whole at bat. Is this 3 sliders?
All of a sudden you hit a ramp.
Slider middle, swings over the top. 4-seam.
I've seen a lot of people go face first into the dirt.
Up away. No way you're catching up to that. Now he sped you up. And then the slider down. See you later. So you're not wrong here, Waste Trade Gaming. Obviously, Jake's fastball has more arm side to it, but the combination of the 4-seam slider being so hard and being so well located down does remind me as well of Jake a little bit. All right, that's 2 outs. And then he's going to get another strikeout on a slider, and this one's 94 almost to O'Hearn. So dominating these lefties with sliders below the zone in this game so far. On to the fifth. 1 pitch out to Nick Gonzalez. That's a very hittable pitch, but he gets what he wants with it. So, you know, I've been talking a lot about like the early contact right on right sinker game. You know, we talked about it with Cease. We talked about it with Holmes. We've talked about it with a number of guys. Burns doesn't do that. So when he gets early contact on the 4-seam, to me, there's chance of more damage there because like they don't have another shape to worry about. So occasionally he's going to get popped on pitches like this. But at the same time, you got to pour the ball. You got to pour the ball into the strike zone early in the count and force the hitters to do something with it. And so far, they haven't been able to do it, even when they had some decent contact. We saw Joey Bart hit one pretty good. Nick Gonzalez. There was a Spencer Horowitz one. But if you're not going to convert on those, you're going to be in deep doo-doo against Chase. All right, next batter is Ozuna. Going to get him out with a 4-seam below the zone. Rolls that to Ellie. 2 outs there, and then a very, very quick 5th inning here as he's going to get Horowitz out, also with a fastball, kind of middle. So he's given him about 4 or 5 pitches to drive that I've seen that they haven't driven, but you cannot get to 2 strikes against Chase Burns and think you're going to survive it. All right, 6th inning, Connor Griffin, going to punch him with the slider. Dirty, really dirty. See ya. Next up, it's going to be a hit on a Joey Bart on a slider. Man, great swing by Joey. Maybe this one just flattened out a little bit, being that it's 95 mile-an-hour slider. My goodness. Look at Tito. You know what? That's just a good swing by Joey Bart. So man on, 1 out. In play outs on a slider here on Neil Cruz. This is 3rd time through. Almost gets clipped. Nice play out there by Will Benson.
Within the reach of Benson.
So now we've seen 2 sliders in a row get hit. The common denominator on these 2 that got hit was they didn't get into negative vert territory, and they've been a little bit more flat over to the left. So that's been the common denominator with the 2 that got hit. They just didn't have the same dive on him. And man, he got he got very fortunate he didn't get clipped here for a 2-run shot.
High and deep to right.
So as dominant as he's been, he's vulnerable a little bit in zone with the 4-seam and the slider when they're middle down. So we'd be curious to watch if that's the culprit when he has a big runs allowed game with hits. All right, here's an out to Bilal. Rolls over the backdoor slider, and so he's through 6. Scoreless, and then on to the 7th. We're going to get a called strike 3 here on Reynolds. So he punches Reynolds all 3 times, although this one's actually ball 4. Almost had him 3 times, but this time Reynolds does spit on that nicely and gets the walk to first base. So man on first, no outs, and here is O'Hearn. This time changeup, 2-0 changeup, and gets the rollover. They go to second, 1-2. Holy cow, this was huge. This is the pitch of the day. Man on second, 0-0 game, 7th inning. Man on first, 0-0 game, 7th inning, 2-0 count. He goes to the pitch he never uses here, 3rd time through the order. Changeup away ball, slider in dirt. Doesn't go fastball or another slider here. Goes changeup. This is a very gutsy pitch when it's not a big part of your arsenal, and boy, does it work out. Gets the double play. That's the pitch of the night. Massive double play. And then he's going to finish this outing with a 3-pitch strikeout, which we'll watch all 3 to Gonzalez. Slider swing and miss as he's feeling it after that double play for sure. 4-seam coming here. Fouled back, and then he's going to punch him with 100.5. So his fastest pitch of the day, I'm pretty sure, is his last pitch of the day. 100.5, right down the middle, doors with 19 vert on it to finish out a spectacular outing for Chase Burns. So he doesn't get the win in this one because Ashcraft is going to outduel him. But that is fantastic pitching. That's as good as we've ever seen him in the big leagues. And I really love the way that he was able to induce that double play ground ball when he was in a spot there versus O'Hearn, 2-0 count. And there's just no doubt. He's a dog. Absolute dog. What a beast. Also, the punch-out numbers on Chase have been ridiculously good since he got into the big leagues. He's got 46 and 41 innings this year. Last year he had 67 and 43 and a third last year. So on his career, 113 and only 84 and a third. That's fantastic. The whiff percentage, 93rd percentile whiff. That's like reliever territory. 35, almost 35% whiff. What's he getting on slider on the year? It's got to be insane. He's getting 50, almost 50% whiff on his slider on the season. It's one of the best pitches in baseball. You know, a lot of people say you can't pitch with 2 pitches, but when they're these 2, you've got a shot to maybe pull it off. And on top of that, not only whiff-wise, they're not doing anything when they're hitting it either. He's allowing a 145 batting average, 261 slug versus the slider. So the slider, simply put, is one of the best pitches in the show. Straight up. He's already got a 7-run value this year on his slider. So Chase Burns is off and running. He looks great. Part of the reason why I like the Reds, even with their bad run differential and everything. What's up, gang? Yeah, just a really awesome thing. You guys are so cute in the chat, Maya and Spectre. All right, on the other side of things, Braxton Ashcraft is another guy that we need to start paying attention to because he's come out like gangbusters this season, and he outdueled him. So let's go look at what he's looking like. He's looking even better on the expected stats than Burns. Doesn't quite have the ERA to match, but through 7 starts, he's been the ace of the Pirates so far. I know he doesn't have wins, but he's arguably been the ace of the Pirates over Skeens to this point in the year. 41 2/3, 45 strikeouts, 1.08 whip in 7 starts. Everything's coming up roses for Ashcraft. Only 26 years old. He's a former 2nd-round pick out of high school. You know, he gives up some balls that are hit hard, but those are probably mostly grounders. Other than that, he's above average in every single metric. Every single metric. So let's watch him because I haven't watched him at all this year. 36 curveballs. So he used the curveball as his number one pitch yesterday. Also 29 four-seamers. Don't sleep on his four-seam. Averaged 97 yesterday. 10 sinkers, 6 sliders, and 1 split. What's the shape on these pitches? -11, -7 on the curve, 16 and 10 on the four seam, 8 and 17 on the sinker. So those are nice and distinct. He's also got some spin ability, 28-10 spin rate on the curveball. Sliders a gyro, 4 and 2, and then the splitters 8 and 12, which doesn't throw much. 89% first pitch strikes is absurd. 24 of the 27 batters he faced. So he really dictated everything in this game. All right, let's see how he gets his outs since I really haven't watched him. Here he is, Braxton Ashcraft. He was the one, by the way, that they kept showing absolutely just rearing to go. Standing on the steps with 2 outs, waiting to get back out there. So I love that. Caged animal. All right, first pitch of his game is a fly out right here from TJ Friedel. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Next up is going to be a walk
Felt like a November game. Warmed up today, though.
To JJ Bleday. I like that Bleday's been playing better, so I like him. I keep asking for them to go Ellie De La Cruz, Sal Stewart at the top, but I can be convinced with Bleday maybe, since he's playing better. All right, here's Ellie. He's going to punch him out on that curveball. Looking. Curveball's got big spin, big velo, big break. So this is going to grade as his best pitch easily. 86 miles an hour, gas. 2,900 RPM, gas. Horizontal break, -7. Downward break, -11. All great. So he's got a ton of total movement at a high velocity. Something moving a lot and moving fast, generally a good thing. Definitely a good thing in his case. Punches out Ellie looking. Here comes Sal Stewart, and he's going to get him out on a curveball on a little chase piece, ground ball there. So curveball's looking like a cheat code a little bit. All right, second inning, 3-pitch strikeout of Nathaniel Lowe. That's a 4-seam up and in paint. Let's watch this hole at bat because it looks like destruction. First pitch, 96. Chase. Second pitch, 96-6. Chase, and then he finally gets it closer to him.
And the Pirates got a lot of those guys.
Doors. Really good pitch in there. All right, next. Curveball again. Breaks the 3,000 RPM barrier on this curveball. Rolls it over. So we've seen now 2 pitchers today. 2 pitchers today dominating righties with right-on-right curveballs. Clay Holmes and Braxton Ashcraft. First pitch out on a split to Will Benson. Not a good pitch, but gets the out. Showing the value of pouring it in the strike zone 0-0 no matter where it is. Popped it on up. All right, third inning, 1 pitch out. Jared Jones nearing return. Man, that rotation can be scary if they can sneak into the playoffs. Skeens, Ashcraft, Kella, Bubba, Jones. Bubba will probably go to the pen in this circumstance. But yeah, you're right. Everybody's been on it. They've always had a very nice combination of starting pitchers that are young. Here's the first look at a sinker out. 18.5. I mentioned the sinker, very different than the fastball. He's got pretty decent vert on his fastball. I mean, it's nothing spectacular, but it's good enough. And then he's got a ton of run on the sinker. So that's very nice. All right, second out here in the third. He's going to get it on a curveball again. Right on right, Matt McLean. And he keeps getting it to that down and away area very nicely. Good play by Connor. He keeps getting it down here. As long as you get your curveball there, it's going to play. And he just keeps getting it there. So nice play there all around. And another out on a curveball. You know, it's funny. His curveball is really good and has velo on it. When I watched Trey Gibson yesterday versus the Yankees, the rookie for the Orioles, he threw a ton of curveballs in zone as well, and he had good feel for it. But I think we're seeing how, first of all, it's quality of the lineup he's facing, but it's also, he's got more, Ashcraft has more spin, he's got more velocity, and guys are mishitting those balls in zone, where I thought Gibson was a little bit of a sitting duck on those curveballs in zone yesterday. All right, fourth inning, first pitch out on a sinker. No, first pitch hit on a sinker. All right, so the first little bit of adversity. J.J. Bleday with a leadoff hit, and here comes the best two hitters. We'll watch all these pitches. Ellie De La Cruz, curveball, strike, four-seam. Really good command, too. Wanted it up in, gets it up in. Pops it up. One out there. Here comes Sal. He's going to get a one-pitch out on Sal. Is this going to be a double play? Yeah, probably. A little chopper to third. That's one. That's two. That's tremendous pitching, and that's the value of that right-on-right sinker early. You know, you want to go deep into a ball game, you gotta find 3 or 4 quick outs. Right-on-right sinkers often the ticket. Great execution there. Good turn by the Pirates. On to the 5th. Here comes a punch-out on a curveball. Nathaniel Lowe. Ooh, that's nasty. He's nasty, guys. His curveball's really good. Just few people can combine that much movement and that much spin and that much speed. Nasty. That's the first out of the 5th. 3-pitch strikeout here of Steer. 98 up. Goodbye. And then a called strike 3 and a curveball of Will Benson. He was cooking with gas in this game. These two pitchers were awesome in this game. Filthy. Dirty curveball there. You could see he's feeling it. 6th inning. Curveball again. This curveball was such a dominant pitch in this game. All right, 4-seam to McLean, and he's under that, pops it up. Plus, like, he's got enough vert on his fastball. I mean, that's 17. That's above average, so 17 on the fastball, plus the sinker's got a ton of movement. So I like both of his fastballs, and I'm loving his curveball. All right, 1-pitch hit here. Friedel jumps on the fastball here, so that he's going to get himself in a little bit of trouble here with a 2-out man in scoring position. So that's going to now bring up J.J. Bleday. Let's see how he gets him out. Goes to the trusty curveball. Actually, a good swing by Bleday. Bleday swung the bat well. And unfortunately for him, this isn't a hit. This was a good swing. Just didn't get anything for it. All right, on to the 7th. Top of the order, Ellie De La Cruz, 4-pitch walk. So not what you want there. Let's see how he recovers. Sal Stewart. Oh, buddy, is he going to hit into another double play? He sure is. First pitch sinker and another double play. This one, he actually stayed inside, right? But stayed inside it, but he hit it right to the second baseman. Looks like he's anticipating something in. So the away might have worked here. Maybe in. Stewart maybe beats him to the spot and gets him in the air. But it looked like he got him reaching there, and that's just it. That's about as easy a double play as you'll ever find. All right, 2 outs there, and then a 2-pitch out to get through the 7th. So even though he had a 4-pitch walk to open the 7th, he has a tremendously efficient 7th inning. Nathaniel Lowe has had nothing going for him against Ashcraft today, and he earned himself a shot to head out for the 8th. First pitch out in the 8th. Spencer Steer. No, it's not an out. It's a first pitch hit on a curveball. So guys are going up there hunting that curveball now. First pitch hit there. And now Will Benson, he's going to punch him out on that same curveball. That's in zone, and he's nowhere near it. That's so nasty. Man, this guy dealt. This guy really, really dealt. That's sick. Sick pitch. All right, he's going to get one more out here, and then he's going to get the hook. It's going to be a hit here from Trevino. There's the slider, which we haven't seen much of. Pulls him down the line. So this got a little iffy here. That's going to be 2nd and 3rd now. 1 out. So huge at bat coming up here. Here it is. Versus McLean. First pitch curveball. They challenge. That's going to be a strike. So he gets to 0-1. Curveball again. Same pitch again. Wow, 2 in a row challenged and overturned. So 0-2 on 2 top shelf inside curveballs. Now 98 above the zone, but overcooks it to the left. So trying to stuff his way out of this. And then back to the curveball, in play outs. Gets it down, gets the chopper. They go home. Dead duck at the plate. Good pitching there. Good pitching there. Keeps them in. And now they do pull him. Who came in and got the big out here? Soto? TJ Friedel.
A little bit more cushion than holding on the first base runner.
So they didn't want him to go through the order
Strikes him out.
a fourth time. Soto comes in and gets a huge punch out. But anyway, back to Ashcraft. He threw the crap out of the ball. That was a tremendous job by him, especially at the end of this game. Really, really nice. Really, really good. I want to watch his delivery from the side. Kid's pitching great. The kid is pitching great. So that was it from this game. Both starters were incredible. Man, that curveball is a hell of a pitch for Ashcraft. What are we looking at with Ashcraft right now in terms of run value on his pitches? You got to think the curveball. Yeah, curveball's got a 5 run value. They're hitting $104 off of it. Keep spamming it, kid. He's also found a lot of success with both of his fastballs, which I mentioned I like. The sinker and the four seam. They have enough distinction between them. I like it. Splitter's barely part of the game. The slider's been the one weakness so far. It's funny because the slider was good last year. Interesting player. Interesting player. Let's go see if there's anything different with his mix, shape-wise. All right, four seam this year is averaging 15.7 and 9.4. Last year it was 15.7, 7.3, so that's about the same. Last year's slider, 5 vert, 2 to the left. This year's slider, 5 vert, not as much to the left. Okay, curveball's the real deal. -7, -10.5 last year. Even better with the same amount of speed. It's a really good pitch. But if you just look at him overall, you just look at the spread of the shapes. The thing I like is that the four-seamer and the sinker never overlap. And then he's got, the curveball's got great spin mirroring to the four-seam. Like the four-seam's going to have rise and backspin, and the curveball's going to have top spin. You see they're sort of in a diagonal from the red to the turquoise down on the left, that light blue. He's been really good, and he was good last year. In 8 starts, 26 games overall, pitched to a 2.71, so they have something with this guy. The Pirates really do have something between Skeens, Ashcraft, Keller, and Jones. Obviously, Bubba is still trying to figure it out, but interesting to watch this team go. And then offensively, they've been a lot better, right? Where are they league-wise in terms of hitting? Have they been better? I hope so. Yeah, in terms of WOBA, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the league hitting. That's a huge difference from last year. And ex-WOBA, they're a little further down, but they're still in the top half of the league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they're 11th. Much, much better. Much, much better. And then from the pitching side of things, they've actually been pretty lousy. No, they've been great on the pitching side of things. They're fifth in pitching WOBA. Ex-WOBA, they're 4th. So you combine those two things: top half of the league, top third of the league offensively, and top 6th of the league pitching wise. They should be. That's legit. They should be around. They should definitely be around. So Pirates need to be taken seriously. They have some guys coming. All right, let's hop in the chat. If you see the Discord link, you will see that today Adam is being fueled by Chocolate Bomb by Sacred Grounds. That is true. Chocolate Bomb are my beans, 100%. Don't look now, but the Pirates might actually be building a great team. Great, we'll see. Good, certainly. Based on what we're seeing so far, this team should not be ignored. So right now, I'm going to handicap the Cubs and the Pirates as the 2 best teams in this division. When you look at advanced stats, I think the Reds can hang in there because they have an interesting team, powered by a couple good bats and a lot of good pitching as well, especially starting. But I think the Pirates are clearly metrically more impressive. I think the Cardinals will eventually fall out. And then, the Brewers, don't know what to make of them yet. Mizorowski being, I guess, a cramp or whatever he's got, not great. I like what the Bucks are doing. It would be so cool if the Pirates make the playoffs this year. It would be. They neutralized Sal the whole weekend, huh? I do think that the Pirates have a little bit of a bullpen issue. Don't love their bullpen long term. So we'll see. And maybe that's a little bit of the reason why they kept him rolling. But man, he pitched great. He pitched awesome. Hoping to see the Pirates pull out the pillbox hats for the game this year to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the National League. They should. They definitely should. Can we watch Emerson Hancock's outing 14 Ks? And then the next comment is AO never says no to Hancock. Probably, yeah. He's on the list. Remind me again later. But yeah, he's on the list. Joe Mack debuts soon. Best defensive catcher in the minors. I remember the preseason show with the Pirates, we were concerned about their defense. I still think the defense is a little bit of a factor, but they're doing a great job in terms of run prevention, mainly by their pitching, mainly driven by their pitching. Seems hard for a rebuilding team to whiff on a 1-1 draft pick without sending them back. Yeah. Pirates show what happens when a good pitching staff goes from one of the league's worst offense to a slightly above average. Yes, exactly. If you can be good in a bunch of different phases, you got a chance to make a move in the standings. And they've been good, except for Ozuna's been struggling, right? So Seth Hernandez on the horizon for the Pirates. When do you think he gets the call? Probably not this year, but he's been looking great in the early going in the minor leagues. So we'll keep an eye on him. And I do have Rock 1-1 still so far, but we'll see. Lau and O'Hearn have been huge for this club. That's been the biggest thing. All right. Okay. That's it for the Pirates. They did a nice job yesterday. Who else on the pitching side did we want to take a peek at today? Luzardo, Leiter. On the hitting side, the Martian had a big day yesterday. Dominguez, Okamoto with another bomb. And then there was a request here for, somebody just said it. Where was it? Sean Burke blanked the Padres through 6 Saturday, 8 Ks. Yeah, we can hang in on him in a little bit. If Seth Hernandez had the same exact skill set and ability, but as a college junior, I bet he would debut this year. Yes. They're being careful with his buildup, I think, with his innings is part of it. You know, in high school, he was very protected. So he didn't throw a ton of stuff yet. I can't understand. Interesting that Moniak was released by the Angels for Tim Anderson. Yeah, Moniak's been playing well for the Rockies. Justin Wrobeleski. Can't understand McCutcheon walk over $2 million and then paying Ozuna $12. Me neither. That was a mistake. Seems like. I know it's early in the season, but who do you feel will be the AL NL Cy Young? Man, it's super early. I still think Skubal's got a great shot to be the AL Cy Young. If not him, I mean, shit, you might look at Schlittler a little bit. There's a couple guys poking their heads out in that race. NL, you know, I've been circling Mason Miller, but I don't think he's going to win it. NL's a little more muddied up. So in the early going, you know, McLean, Holmes, Sale. I think Sale's probably the leader in the clubhouse right now so far. Damn, Joe Ryan came back as a UCL tear. That's not good. Also, Ohtani has got to be in the Cy Young race as well, no doubt. Man, so injury assessment on Joe Ryan. If they said it's got a UCL tear, then he needs old Thomas Johnson surgery. I think that's pretty straightforward if that's the case. Hopefully that's not the case, but it seems like that is the case. So, yikes. All right, let's hop over to some Yankee stuff real quick. You didn't see it confirmed yet? Well, let's wait on that then. We'll do some quick Yankee stuff because I want to check in on Dominguez, Jasson, the Martian, and then, you know, also they just smashed some more home runs yesterday. Ben Rice continues to be ridiculous. He went 2 for 2 yesterday before getting replaced. He's got a 1,200 OPS. Judge is over 1,000 again. He went 2 for 4. And then Dominguez, who didn't have a spot early, but ended up 3 for 5, 3 RBIs with the dinger yesterday. So the Yankees offense really came alive. What does Dominguez look like here in the early going? He has got very few plate appearances so far. Only 19. Expected batting average, very good. Exit velo, good. Bat speed, good. Squared up, good. K percentage, good. 0 walks. Chasing too much. Also, the big questions about the Martian were how he can hit right-handed. Cool to remember, though, the kid's only 23 years old, so plenty of time for this guy. Not that the Yankees care about that much. They're going to care about who's winning right now. So let me hop over to the Yankees-Orioles. We'll watch a few swings, and then we'll move on to something else. Yankees O's. We mentioned Dominguez, so we'll start with him. Got 3 hits to end this game. So let's watch all the at-bats from his hits. This one's going to be right-handed, I believe. Yeah, because right-handed is where he's been scuffling. Curveball fouled off. Curveball again here. Swing and miss. So 0-2. This time he spits on the curveball. Here comes the fastball. 2 non-competitives, and then another curveball. Must be a hanger. Kinda, but he buggy whips that ball down the line. Hit that ball very hard. 108 for the double there. Good swing by Jasson. We haven't seen him do much. Right-handed in a while. But the reason why they called him the Martian, why he was so hyped from such a young age, is he's a ball of muscle. You know, he can do a lot of things with sprint speed and bat speed, especially from his size package, that not a lot of people can. So there's the curveball whacked by Dominguez. Next at bat, it's going to be a left-handed home run off Kittredge, and Kittredge had one of those unfortunate days that he'll remember for the rest of his life. I believe he gave up 7 earnies. Total day from hell from Kittredge. So sinker away, 4-seam in. 4-seam again here. Fouled off as he's under that. Here comes the slider. Nope. And then he's going to clip a slider for a homer.
High fly ball, right field.
Buggy whips that to right. He's got that big helicopter finish with both sides. Only hits that 93.6, but he's in the right ballpark to do it. Catches it off the end. Home run to right. First of the season for Dominguez.
High fly ball.
Interesting swing, huh? He's got the goatee going. I've never seen a Yankee rock a goatee, so I find that very odd, but Dominguez is doing it. I guess they were doing it in AAA. Man, what a weird swing. Pays off because he's at the short porch, and then he's going to get another double here right-handed. His next at-bat versus Dietrich ends. 4-seam up, change up. So it seems like right-handed, stick with the fastballs against him. Off speed, that's what he wants to do. He wants to pull you right down the line. He did that with the slider earlier. Now he does it with the changeup as the Yankees blew this game open. Another 107+ mile-an-hour ball right-handed. So good to see him doing some damage right-handed. We'll see how much playing time Jasson gets, but he's off to a nice start. Here were the other big swings in this game. Ben Rice, first pitch curveball off Trey Gibson. Kaboom.
Not on the field of play. Rice rips one to right field. Gone.
Homer. This guy's absolutely locked in. And then his next at-bat off Gibson, he's going to get another hit. Sinker ball and then cutter. He stays through it and gets it through. Oh, actually, this was a play that they zooed it, so whatever. Ends up going 2 for 2. This play was a total disaster. And then Judge goes home run on a hanging curveball here off of Gibson. So the Yankees are absolutely clicking on every possible cylinder right now. The offense has been a lot better the last couple weeks. Pitching stayed the same, which is to say they've been the best staff in the big league so far. And they're just rolling along, and that's why they're not messing with success. Here's the other hit Judge got on a sinker. As Kittredge just couldn't get anybody out in this game. Poor guy had a tough day. 110.6 on the line drive to left. So they're hot. They're rolling. Not a whole lot to say about the Yankees, but they're absolutely rolling. 1,200 OPS from Rice, 1,000 for Judge, 856 for Belly, 872 for Dominguez. Grisham's played better lately, although he had a tough game yesterday. Rosario's been lethal off the bench. Jazz has started to heat up a little bit, so they're actually on the upswing offensively, not to mention their pitching staff. I mean, this is a quote-unquote bad start from Max Fried. 5 1/3, 3 runs, but they cruised to victory either way. So Yankees are the best team in the AL, I think, pretty clearly at the moment. All right. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, also Big Pete. Big Pete had a home run. He's been swinging a lot better of late. Here's the home run off of Max. Changeup. Or actually, this is a hit off Max, but he's been swinging it really, really a lot better. I think he had home runs in each of the first 2 games of the series. He seems to be way more on time, so I'm expecting Pete's numbers to start, ticking up. This is another 2-hit day, and he homered in each of the first 2 games of the series. Just feel like he's more on time now a little bit. I don't know what he's doing with this weird setup. Like, I don't know what is this move, Pete? Like, what is that? I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but either way, when he's getting to launch now, at least he's getting to launch on time. And he's using the whole field, so. Anyway, that's the Pete update. All right, back to the chat. Yankees offense good or Orioles pitching bad? Probably a combination of both. Can't believe it's been 4 years since Jasson first called up. The way Dominguez whips the bat around his head on the follow-through is like a lasso as well. It's kind of Fred McGriff-ish. Got the helicopter finish. Definitely does it from both sides, which is interesting. Is Kittredge the guy Pitching Ninja said throws like a drunk uncle? Yep, 100%. That's exactly what he looks like. Oh, I saw it and read MRI came back this evening. All right, so we don't know enough about Joe Ryan's injury yet. Right now, Rice is the best first baseman in baseball. Hard to argue with that. Could definitely start the All-Star game. It bothers me how good Ben Rice actually is. I really hoped he wasn't legit. No, I mean, he's legit. You saw the numbers last year under the hood. Now they gave him the full menu of at-bats now. So he's getting righties, getting lefties, he's getting in a rhythm. He smashes. He's really, really, really good. All right, this is the next question. What's going on with Jack Leiter? It kind of seems like he's gotten unlucky with bad defense past 2 outings. Also seems like he pitches much better with a lead. He doesn't force pitches. Jack's next. We're going to watch him next. Ben Rice, 12th round pick, became Juan Soto's much better replacement. He's not much better than Juan Soto, but he is raking like he is Juan Soto right now. He's still doing the rocking, Carl. Leiter was awesome. Can't read much into the 5 runs. He was electric. See, that's why I had him on the list. We're going to go right to Jack now. He pitched against the Tigers last night on Sunday Night Baseball. It was not me on the call, but I watched it. Got to scout it out. Got to see how the boys are doing. And they do end up losing this game. Real quick, Lukey Dookie in the chat. We already did Clay Holmes earlier in the day. He's been fantastic spamming the sinker. All right, here we go. Jack Leiter. We got to go through his outing because he does not deserve the 5 earned runs, I don't believe, because I didn't even see what happened, but he was cooking through the first several innings of this game. The first 4 innings, he looked unbelievable. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, 1 home run, 100 pitches. Let's see the breakdown. 47 fastballs, 19 changeups. Those are the main 2, and then the slider. 14 of those. 9 cutters, 7 curveballs, 4 sinkers. Faced an even split of righties and lefties. Got big whiff on his 3 primaries, 36% on the 4, 38 on the change, 33 on the slider. Pounded the strike zone, so did a lot of things fundamentally well, 77%. Because again, through 4, this is about as good as I've ever seen him pitch. Really, everything looked tremendous. So let's go and check it out. Tigers and, who was it? Tigers Rangers, obviously. Deep in the heart of Texas, even though this game was in Detroit, Michigan. Jack Leiter. Rizzo was also talking about the camera angle at Globe Life. Dude, I totally was listening to that. He said it, and I was like, oh, elaborate more on that. Make the people understand. He just said, I don't trust it or whatever. But I'm like, man, it's like taking away all the depth perception. So I thought that was interesting that he brought that up. I was like, there it is. He noticed it. All right, here we go, Jack. Let's watch all his outs. First pitch, fastball out to McGonigal. 4-seam up, beats him. So what do we know about Jack Leiter? Fairly easy delivery to pick up. I don't think there's a lot of deception there. But shorter guy, lower than average release height with tremendous velocity and backspin, which is a great place to start. Especially that 4-seam backspin, great place to start for him. And then from there, everything's going to play off of that. He needs to get you on the fastball which is what he did early in this game, and you can see it really plays up in the zone. This is 97.5 with 19 inches of vert from a short guy. That's just a great pitch. Great spin, great everything, doors. Next up, and another strikeout. This is a slider to Colt Keith.
He'll go 1-2 for Keith. And he drops
Looking.
in slider,
So
strike
very good first inning. Second inning.
Instead of trying to hit it 500 feet, he's saying 2 strikes. I'm going to try to get a base hit.
Riley Green up top with the fastball.
Fastball to the attic. 3
Nice. Another strikeout with the fastball of Torkelson. He really had it working here early.
another.
Four seam up and away, nowhere close to that. He almost pitched too good the first time through the order that he really woke up the other side. And then I think they probably came back with a better plan. This is a 3-pitch strikeout of Kerry Carpenter, so let's watch all 3 of these pitches. The Globe Live camera angle sucks when compared to the Reds ballpark, which does the center field camera angle much better. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So fastball, what was that? Fastball, changeup, and then he drops this curveball on Kerry Carpenter to punch the side in the second. Tremendous second inning. On to the third inning. Slider to Wenzel Perez. Grounded out. Went out there. Swinging strike on a fastball up to Lee Doors. You can see that fastball was exploding out of Jack's hand last night. And then another quick out here to Rogers. So faces the minimum through 3. Perfect through 3. Everything looking groovy. There's Kutch. 4th inning. In play out to McGonigal. 4-seam up. Gets above that barrel. Pops it up to left. 1 out there. Next up. Vierling. Slider. Another easy play. The minimum through there. And then he's going to face the minimum through 4. Colt Keith. Slider. Little lob Johnson out to center. Evan Carter. All right, let's see what happens here. 5th inning. It's a 4-pitch walk. So it always starts with something fundamental like that. 4-pitch walk. What were the pitch choices in this at-bat? Change-up, 4-seam, 4-seam. Okay. Next up, let's watch this whole at-bat to Torque. Remember, he blew Torque away with a fastball up first time. 4-seam away, strike. 4-seam again. Fouled off, still feels late to me. They should have went 4-seam again. He's going to make the mistake with the slider here. Yeah, just poor execution. And they didn't have any margin for error. The bat speed was slider bat speed. I know that this is also just poor execution. He wants this ball for chase. But, you know, after those first 2 fastballs, he could have stayed up with another one here. It's just a mistake all around. Choice, execution, everything. Torkelson takes him bridge. But you know what? I wouldn't care if it was a solo home run. I care a little more that it's a 2-run home run, which accentuates the effect of that leadoff walk. So that really hurts. All right, now he gets angry and he goes 3-pitch strikeout to Kerry Carpenter here. Slider strike. 4-seam foul ball, and then changeup. So he really dominated Kerry Carpenter here. That was dirty. Next up, in play outs to Perez. Ooh, that ball's well hit. This is a great play by Kutch. Great play by Kutch. Old man McCutcheon with the play. Nice play. 2 outs there. And then a 3-pitch strikeout of Lee. Smell you later. So, a 4-pitch walk and a hanging slider got him there. That's unfortunate. 6th inning. Rogers is going to lead off with a hit on an 0-2 curveball. Another mistake. So 2 breaking ball mistakes in the middle really hurt him. Evan Carter trying to make that play also really hurt him. Because now that's going to be a triple instead of a man on first, no out. It's man on third, no out. Dang. And then another 0-2 pitch here to McGonigal. Another mistake, base hit. So a couple of mistakes ahead in the count. It's execution of the off-speed pitches that got him in this game. Man, it sucks because he came out looking so good. Here's a strikeout of Vierling on the fastball away. Good pitch there. Here's an out on a cutter. Ooh, nice bare hand there by Jack. Get his second out there. He had great fundamentals. He got himself into great counts all game here except for that 4-pitch walk That really bit him in the butt in the 5th. And then it's a bunch of mistakes when he's ahead in the count, basically. The Torkelson mistake, the McGonigal mistake, the Rogers mistake. 7th inning. Strikeout here to Torkelson on the changeup. Dirty pitch there. And then a first pitch hit here. That's a really good view of that changeup. So that's a kick change. You can see that middle finger slightly knuckled on the ball. It's hard to see there, but that's the last point of contact, right? Middle finger. That kicks the axis a little bit into this side spin. You see that? And then there's that fade. That's a really good view. Nice pitch. All right, then he gets a one pitch hit here, Kerry Carpenter. So Carpenter didn't want to wait around to strike out again. He goes ahead and swings here, and he gets a hit on a first pitch changeup. 3-1. Here comes the cutter. Now this was a pitch that he used a lot early in the season. He was spamming the cutter because it's 94, but he kind of shied away from it a little more in this one. Does get an out on it here. And then he gets beat here on a 2-2 sinker. You got to keep that ball in the infield. So yeah, this inning, the last 2 runs probably could have been somewhat avoided. You know, Evan Carter diving after Rogers' little floater into center, ended up getting a man on third. McGonigal drove him in. And then this, even if you're not going to get the out here, you got to keep this ball in the infield. You're able to touch it. You got to keep it in the infield. Keep it in the infield saves a run. The man coming around from second base won't be able to score if you knock this ball down in the infield. Now, once it flared out to the outfield, they're able to send him home. So ultimately, that's what kind of hurt Jack a lot in this game. And then on top of that, his next run got cashed, right? Yeah, single. So he ends up with 5 earnings when he probably should have had just the 2, in my opinion. I think he threw the ball better than he got credit for. It's a little bit of an issue with some of the 2-strike mistakes. So I'm wondering if it's more just a command of his off speed. Like, he's got control. He throws strikes. It's just a matter of, does he command his pitches as well when he needs to, in zone, out of zone? Because for me, I'd say he's on the cusp of being something good. He's just not quite sealing the deal. I do think the defense betrayed him a lot there. But you see the walk rate's above average, so that's fine. He's always going to give up some hard contact, but I feel like he's going to be able to strike his way out of a lot of stuff too. Strikeouts are pretty good. So we saw the good and the bad from Jack here, but it's also his defense. Defense really let him down there a lot. Yeah, tough to watch, but I thought he threw the ball well, didn't deserve that fate as much. All right, let's hop in the chat. Also, just want to say, as MLB The Show player, your cards have always tortured me. Appreciate that. Most of the kids I meet nowadays, they talk to me more about my MLB The Show card than about my baseball ability in real life. So, love that. Main difference on the kick change and the middle finger placement. Yeah, your middle finger's just spiked up a little bit on the kick, which is what we saw there. And then it kind of releases it out. If it's laying flat on the ball, it's a regular change. The kick allows you to spin that ball a little more sideways and create more drop, which is what Jack's trying to do, because he gets such good carry through the ball that he's trying to kick it as much as he can. And the easy telltale sign on that is this number right here, 15-17 on the spin. That's his changeup spin. That's way low, which tells me it has to be a kick change, as opposed to the one where the finger's laying flat and getting some friction as he pulls it through. If you look at Jack in terms of like active spin and stuff, it's actually come down a touch on his fastball. He's at 93. He was at 95 before, and I bet he was even more north of that before. But that's where you start with him, is that he can backspin the ball pretty well. And then from there, he's looking to create as much separation as possible. That's why he's kicking that change down to 74% active spin. And then he's looking to tunnel the slider really well off of that. But yeah, it's like he's going to strike out guys, not going to walk a lot of guys. It's a little bit of a command within the zone, especially with the breaking pitches that I think is getting him right now. But I'm still pretty bullish on Jack overall. I think he's going to be a pretty good pitcher despite the 20th percentile expected ERA. I think he's got a really good run of starts in him. And if you watched him for the first 3 or 4 innings yesterday, you could kind of see why I feel that way. You know, at least for me. Can you elaborate on how the Globe Life camera angle affects breakdowns? Could it be a reason why the Rangers struggle at home? Yeah, sure. I'll just go and look for a random game here versus Texas in Texas. So, like, I know the Yankees were just there. Let's take a look at it. So, like, we actually watched this game when it happened. So if you watch Evaldi from the Globe Life camera angle, it's very high up.
And the first pitch
right? So it's behind, which is good to see pitches move right and left to some extent. But since it's so high up, you can't tell anything in terms of depth pitches. Like, this is a split for swinging strike.
The Rangers could use it as well. The 1-2 pitch.
Doesn't look, you don't see much. You know what I mean? It just looks like it has a little bit of, like, it's already headed down anyway. And all you see is a little bit of baby movement. Now, if I switch to the center field cam, you can see a little bit better here about how the ball's actually moving down. Like, now you can see some actual movement. That's what we're used to seeing. And if a batter's trying to gauge like a pitcher's movement or like whether they're making good swing decisions, if they can't see the ball flight accurately, that's going to mess with them a little bit in terms of their perception. So that's why Anthony was saying on the broadcast yesterday that they just kind of let it go. Furthermore, if you want to look at like Elmer pitched in this game, and there's a strikeout. There's some strikeouts here on sinkers. Like on the sinker here, you can't tell that moved at all, right? So this pitch moved. I don't know if this. I talked about it when I broke him down. This pitch moved 17.2 inches to the right, but watch the way it looks on the camera. All you can really tell is that it went right to left because of where his arm slot is. You can't detect how much that ball moved back, right? So I think that's part of what he's talking about too. Not only can you not see depth up, down, but also because this camera is so perfectly positioned behind home, it strips out the ability a little bit, especially from the height it's at, to see the ball moving from left to right here, which is what's actually happening in the flight. You just can't tell. So anyway, that's kind of the elaboration. Is just like
1-1 pitch, and that is
you can't get a true read of the movement of the pitches. I would say that's the biggest thing when looking at this camera angle. Would you rather be known as the MLB The Show pitcher or the YouTube streamer? Probably the YouTube streamer, because that would mean people were watching this show. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that my legacy, if I have a legacy, lives on in video game mode. You know what I'm saying? Jack is a classic new thinking for a 3 fastball approach, it feels like. Yeah, I do think he could lean more into sinker and cutter. 4-seam sinker and cutter. I think that could work for sure. Remember how F1 had that driver crossover from esports? Now in baseball, with the technological advances of training tools, you can face the best of the best in a cage or your living room. Sorta. Kinda. You can sorta do it. It's not exactly the same, but sorta. I wonder what team has the best camera angle. I'll let you know when I see it, but Cincinnati's is pretty good. There's some really good ones out there. Milwaukee's another one that's pretty good. You want to be behind the pitcher, but you don't want to be too far to the right or the left, but you don't want to be too high either. So there's that perfect happy medium of being behind, but you can get a really good view of it. So. Ever heard the idea that sports are a soap opera in disguise with really unpredictable writing? I mean, it's the only thing that it's the only monoculture now is sports, right? And it's great because it's the ultimate reality show. You really never know what's going to happen. So that's one of my favorite things. Yeah. Boston's used to be really good. Mitch, yeah. All right, I'm going to leave this one up while I flip to whatever's next. We've watched The Martian. We watched okay, Luzardo. Luzardo's the only one left on my list right now. And then we can talk a little bit about some other stuff as well. Traject machines and batting cages in Cooperstown so fans can take BP versus all-time greats. That would be interesting. They don't have a lot of the pitch metrics, which is what Traject relies on to create the actual movement, but yeah. All right, I'm going to run to the restroom for one moment, so hang tight. All right, I'm back. The tech and training tools are the only reason dudes these so much better than way back in the day? Yeah, I mean, but it's like every generation builds off the last one. So it's not the only reason, but you learn from what people right in front of you did, and a lot of their methods get sprinkled down, and obviously the technology kind of accelerates. It's kind of like throwing gas on there on the situation a little bit and sparking that fire a little bit bigger. Can we watch Bazzana's first hit? Was that yesterday? You finally get a hit? Travis Bazzana, Australia. The Australian man. Was this his first hit yesterday? Travis Bazzana, 2 for 3. He's got 3 hits, so that was 2 days ago. All right, well, I'm just going to click on them. These are the 3 hits that Bazzana has. First career hit is a 2-run single.
3-2, ground ball up the middle.
Smashes that up the middle. Very nice. Another fun young guy. Waiting for him to get to about 50 or 60 plate appearances, and then we'll go ahead and make the video on him. Here are the 2 hits from yesterday. Here's the first one off Savali. I do think there's some similarities between Bazzana and McGonigal. McGonigal's more polished and he's ahead of the game, but there's some similarities. The left-handed bat, the crouch, the strike zone judgment. Bazzana's already got that in spades. Here's the 3rd hit. Ooh, gets on a fastball down in, pops that to right, so starting to get a little more comfortable. 3 hits in the last 2 games for the Aussie. Here in the early going, what's standing out? Exit velo's good. Chase rate's tremendously good. That looks like it's at least 95th percentile. Walk rate, awesome. That goes hand in hand. K percentage, really good. Whiff rate, looks like it's below average, but not super bad. Bat speed is low, but that's sort of in the Bellinger territory, so it's not totally unusable. You need to be right around 70 if you can. No barrels yet. The rest is kind of too early to see. So anyway, that's the early returns on Bazzana. We didn't do Hancock yet. So I have a couple more pitchers to look at. We have maybe Burke, Hancock, Luzardo. We could watch Okamoto's home run. All that type of stuff. Got some good VR talk in the chat. Yeah, he's walking a ton. He is. If he stood more upright, he'd be Trout. I'm not seeing the Trout yet. I've seen you guys talk about that, but I don't know. I see more McGonigal so far, but he's his own guy. We'll watch him. What about the testosterone decline across decades? Wouldn't that suggest athletes of the past had higher upside that they didn't achieve? And I don't know. I don't know enough about this whole endocrine problems over decades, but we'll see. Don't have to watch him, but your thoughts on Logan Henderson? Am I way too high on him thinking? Haven't even looked at him yet. We'll get to him at some point for sure. How am I feeling about Knicks Sixers? I'm feeling great because the Knicks are clearly the favorite now to make the finals, in my opinion. The way Detroit looked in round 1. But the fact that I'm feeling good is probably a red flag. I'm sort of out on the full upright stance, I think. Got to have some type of crouch to be an athlete up there. I think it depends on you, on who you are. I think the more upright has worked for like Jordan Walker, Judge, and certain guys. But then the crouch, no doubt, the crouch could be, you know, good to being athletic and being on your toes as well. So I think it's still individual a little bit. All right, a couple more guys to look at here that were just mentioned. There's a Wrobeleski request. I wanted to look at Luzardo because for me, you know, I know he's still got a 5.09 ERA, but I think he's trending as one of the best pitchers in the world. 6 1/3, 8 hits, 2 earned, no walks, 10 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed. This is what his numbers look like on the season. They're comical because he's got a 5.09 and he's got a 3.17 expected ERA. Literally every single thing he's doing is great. So you got to wonder if there's some level of tipping going on at times, which was something he got into trouble with last year. But you know, it speaks for itself. He's under the hood. He's looked like, simply put, one of the best pitchers in the sport. So let's speed through his game yesterday. Who'd they face? They faced the Marlins. Luzardo and the Marlins. Okay, Ramirez. That option happened after the game. Also, Josh Eknes. I know Miami. My guy from Miami in here, Will, is going to want me to take a look at Eknes. But we're going to start with Luzardo, 6 1/3, 2 earnies in this one. Philly and Texas. I have a little bit more time today. I need to order lunch, but I'm not playing golf. And I just found out I'm not playing golf again tomorrow either. So, dang it. I thought I was going to play golf 2 days in a row. Now I'm not playing any golf, which kind of sucks. So, what are you going to do? All right, Luzardo, let's check this outing out. This guy's filth.
Luzardo comes after you with fastball sinkers.
97 mile-an-hour sinker to Nimmo. Jam sandwich right to Bohm. 1 out there. Next up is T-Rex arm. Wyatt Langford gets in on those T-Rexes, though. Grounds them to Trey Turner. So 2 jams, first 2 batters. Third batter, Corey Seager, going to punch him with the sweeper, which was one of the most effective pitches in the game last year. He's got a great combination of velo and movement on this. This is 87, about 14.5 inches to the right. He throws it with great intent, and he punches Seager out looking. Very hard thing to do. Next up, swinging strikeout on a changeup, which to me was his best pitch when he was with the Marlins and the A's of Burke. It's got negative vert. He comes from a pretty, you know, neutral arm slot, 87, dirty. There's also a kick, I believe, with the low spin. So see you later there. Nasty. I just think his stuff is like top 10 in the league for a starter. There's 98 Bayou up and in to Kutch, dirty, 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 and then a 1-pitch out to Higgy.
11 home runs last year. He has a hit so far, and he rolls over on this.
I think I'm watching the wrong game. I am totally watching the wrong game. This was Luzardo versus the Marlins yesterday, right? Sorry, guys. Otto Lopez. That's my bad. Change-up strikeout of Otto Lopez. That was the first out yesterday. He also got staked to a 6-0 lead in this game, which is pretty crazy. Ramirez, who's now in AAA, flies it out to Marsh. And then here's the sweeper to Stowers. The Marlins, if they want to be serious this year, they need to get Stowers going. Little blooper into left. And then a strikeout of Norby on the changeup. So dirty changeup, dirty sweeper. Those are his putaways, as well as the velo he throws with the 2 fastballs. Second inning. Here's a hit from Xavier Edwards. This guy's a freaking menace. Don't like facing Xavier Edwards. Base hit. Man, going from the 2-hole to AAA, that's some kind of whiplash, no doubt. So he got in a little trouble here in the second. Single. All right, 3-pitch strikeout coming here. Four-seam in. Change up off that. Who's this, Leo? That's dirty. And then another one. Man, really good changeups from Jesus here. Fastball in, change up, goodbye. Next up, called strike 3 on a fastball. Estrella Ruiz, 98 in. See ya. And then he's going to get Sanoa out here to end the second. So gotten a little bit of trouble, pitched through that in the second. No problem.
Crawford's got it. Side retired.
Third inning. Change up.
Batting 260
Change up's
against
such a good
righties,
pitch
228
for him.
against lefties.
Lopez.
Just lofted
Ooh,
out to
nice
short.
play by Trey.
Diving is Turner.
Oh, that was good
And
baseball.
Lopez is
Then a one pitch out here. He actually didn't even get him out because he flipped it up. He's off the bag, but then he just gets a double play on the next play. That's how you do it. All right, Ramirez, I'm starting to see why you got sent back to AAA. They're not thrilled with that. And Joe Mack, it's Joe Mack time. Sweeper coming here. To Stowers. Gets him off the end of the bat just like he did the first at-bat, but this one doesn't fall in. This one flies out. That's 3 innings. 4th inning. Called strikeout on a changeup here. Oh, that's paint. Nice pitch. Changeup again. So you're going to put righties in the lineup, you're going to get a lot of changeups. You put lefties in the lineup, you're going to get a lot of sweepers. Here's a hit on a fastball. Ooh, Morel sighting. Base hit. And now an out on a fastball. Ooh, broken bat. All up in there. All right, scoreless through 4. 5th inning. Strikeout out of Ruiz on a sweeper. Back foot. Ooh, that was nasty. Yeah, you're not hitting that. Just got to try not to swing at that. Another vicious sweeper to the back foot. So back-to-back strikeouts there on righties with sweepers. You're going to get all 3 outs in this inning on sweeper to righty. There's a back door chopped in the ground. Here comes Bohm. No shot. So he didn't get him out, but all 3 on sweepers. Here's a fastball. Ramirez pounds that into the ground, so he's 0 for 3. 6th inning. Owen Casey, here's the sweeper. Nowhere close to that. That's 87. So interesting about Luzardo is the sweeper kind of has multiple shapes. Like it's not always that big of a breaking pitch. Like this one only goes 5.4. But that's okay because they think they're swinging at a fastball. Like he's got a deceptive sweeper. It's not one of those ones where they see it right out of the hand. And he's got velo on it. Here's another strikeout. See, this one went 12. So sometimes it's short, sometimes it's a little bit bigger. Either way, it's fast. And he throws it with great intent. I want to watch Luzardo's delivery from the side on this sweeper. So you can get a look at that. Really good intent. Like he comes through it hard. Nasty. He's such a good athlete, too. All right, that's 2 outs in the 6th, and then he's going to get his 3rd out here to Edwards. So really leaning sweeper here, 2nd and 3rd time through the order. 7th inning. Strikeout on a changeup. Morel. Love changeup to Morel. Yeah, he's not even close to that. Ooh, here's a hit by pitch on a sweeper. The actual back footer? Yep, actual back footer. Hit him in the actual back foot. Ay. All right, hit by pitch there. 4-seam coming here. And there's the home run. That's the only runs he allows in this game. It's a back foot hit by pitch and then a 2-0 challenge heater. Granted, they're up 7-0 to Ruiz. Let's see what happened in this inning.
Guys, so you see the focus. You see
In this
height,
batter.
height.
Sweeper backdoor ball. 4-seam ball. So he just got a fastball and a fastball count, and he threw it right into his barrel. I don't even care. You have a big lead. I can live with that home run. Good swing by Ruiz. Tip your cap and move on. Here's another hit on a changeup. So he got in a little bit of trouble here to finish the 7th, and that's why his night ended before completing 7 innings. He was 1 strike away from 7 shutout, ends up giving up the 2 runs, but he's pitched really well, man. His stuff looks good. Now that they have Wheeler back, Sanchez, and Jesus, I feel pretty good about the Phillies clawing their way back into contention. Granted, they've started off horribly, but I feel pretty good about them kind of clawing back in. All right, what else we got here? Are the Marlins one of the teams calling every pitch from the dugout? Yes, I believe that is true. The extension feels so unique for the way he stays in his legs throughout his delivery. Gets just an early and aggressive lead leg block. Yeah, I think that's what you're looking at with Luzardo. I'm looking for like a really fast fastball. Here's 95. Here he is from the side. Because his extension's super low. So you would think because he does stay in his legs and he's not super tall, you would think that his stride would be bigger and he would get out there earlier. But I think you're right. I think he gets his foot down planted pretty early. And then he's very good at stopping himself. So there's not a lot of leaning out and going to get it with those fingers. So that's kind of what we're looking at with Luzardo. I mean, it's tremendously efficient, and that's why he throws so hard, and he's so athletic. But yeah, no extension. Helps his curveball and his sweeper, I think, a little bit. And he throws hard enough to make up for it with the fastballs. Anyway, there's another look at that delivery from the side. I think he's got one of the better, more athletic deliveries. But again, you know, a lot of times you can trade extension for more velocity. And it can also help your changeup and stuff like that. So that makes sense. He's had a below average strand rate 3 years in a row. Seeing anything that might cause this? Well, last year he had definitely had a tipping thing going on. So tipping is a possibility. You know, once he got on second base, people knew what he was throwing, so it makes sense with the strand rate. Other than that, this year I haven't seen any individual instances that give me any other thoughts. So I'm just going to assume that number is going to come back to earth. I think he will. I'm going to take the purely sabermetric stance and say strand rate is completely lucky / fluky. I mean, there are some people that can definitely make better pitches with runners in scoring position over a large sample. But yeah, I mean, he's too nasty not to do better with guys in runners in scoring position. So I think it's a little bit of the tipping or just it's a little bit fluky. I would agree with Philip there. Dinger Singer seems to agree with that. All right, let's take a quick break from the pitching to watch another Kaz Okamoto home run. Right, he clipped one yesterday again for the Jays. Where are my Blue Jays? 1 for 4 with a dinger. Twins, Jays. I know you Savage pitched, but it was kind of a ho-hum game, so we're going to just ignore that for now. We could watch the 2 pitches from Joe Ryan, see if we see anything. But we'll switch over to Jays, Twins. First, we'll watch the Okamoto home run. Here is Kaz hitting another home run. He homered in every game of this series. This one's off Topa. He homered off of him the other day on a sinker down in. So let's see what this one is. Sweeper in for a ball, and sweeper again. Going to get hammered. He's looked so much better on breaking balls the last week or two. He's got just stupid power. You can't make a mistake to him middle down in the zone. You just can't right now. That's 109 again at 36. He loves to home run to like left center, right center, center. Seems like he's so good at keeping the ball, you know, towards the big part of the park, but he's got enough juice to get it out. So he now homered off both of Topa's pitches, the sinker and the sweeper. And yeah, they got a keeper, man. Jay's got a keeper. Really good signing from them. He's been looking really good. He's adjusting really, really well. He's so much more balanced at the plate. I think where he moved around in the box really helped him. All right, so that's it on that. Where's Joe Ryan? Poor guy is now hurt. So he goes 3-pitch strikeout to open the game, throwing 92 to Pinchongo.
He's not afraid to let you know what he's thinking out there.
Splitter there. Just looking for any detection. There's the sweeper. Strike 3. Not seeing anything there. Second batter. Here's Oak. We're seeing up ball. Hopefully he didn't tear his UCL. That was in the chat earlier. Then I saw it was debated, so I'm not going to say anything until I know. Because I really love watching Joe Ryan. I don't want to be without him for a year and a half. But it is a shame that he got hurt. It's interesting that he takes himself out after the 2 batters. Kind of looking in the dugout there after that pitch a little bit. Wonder if he was feeling it throughout this whole at-bat.
believe it or not, we have to sit here and get acclimated with our new surroundings, right? So
Yep,
this
he
guy
was feeling it throughout that whole
he's
at bat
already
for sure. I bet you it was bugging him before the game, and he just tried not to overthrow, but it never got any better. So now the MRI is going to have to do the talking now, and we'll see. That sucks. That really sucks. He was off to a bad start too, right, Joe? Not bad. 3.72 through 8 starts. I saw he had a really horrible one, so he must have had a couple good ones. Dang. 2026, he's averaging 92.6. Last year, he averaged 93.7, so he's down a mile an hour over last year. Even more so if you go back a little bit further to 24. What a bummer. One of our better pitchers in the league. And now he's going to be out. Hopefully it's not a total Tommy John, but not looking great. He flinched after the second pitch. I don't know. Not doing the usual, like grabbing or shaking of the arm, but I don't know. And then pretty clearly calls the trainer out over after this. I mean, right away looks at the dugout and says, come on, come get me. Very weird one. It's his lower back that usually has been Ryan's Achilles. First batter. I don't know. Still unclear, but who knows? Could be doing that. Not sure. Did the internal brace exist when you got TJ? Was yours a mid-tear or an avulsion tear? Don't think it existed. My UCL was weird. You still see my scar. Mine never really like had a catastrophic kaboom. It was coming off on this side on the attachment more to the tricep. This is where it was starting to fray and where I think it finally let go. But I had some. Basically, Dr. James Andrews told me that after he did my surgery that my ligament looked like an old rope that had been left out in the rain for 10 years. So it like was still a rope. Like it was still there, but it was kind of old and rotted and had been through a lot. And so there was no like moment where it completely detached or exploded or anything, but it was sort of losing its functionality slowly over time, particularly on the posterior side. So he left it in there, and then he went and put a brand new one. It's called the palmaris. So it's this on the left. It's this little guy on the left, but they took it out of my right. See, it's gone from my right, and you can't really see it anymore. But I had a snip from right here to right here. So it was about that long. They snipped out of my arm, and then they sewed that in there over my old ligament and told me he gave me a super ligament. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but there was no external brace at that time. No internal brace at that time, which they say is, one of the best things you can get now. Kind of reinforces that ligament in there. But I was fine. I never had another elbow problem after that. But definitely sad for Ryan, for sure. And how many teams missed on Oko and Mune? Oof. Kaz's home run was almost so clutch. The double play after was so telegraphed. Okamoto doesn't want to leave Minnesota. He was hitting good. He was seeing the ball real well at Target Field. That's for sure. I didn't get a cadaver. I got it from here. I got it from my wrist. The palmaris, it's called, is what I got. All right, 11:57. Not a whole lot of time left. We just did a little quick break on Okamoto, and we looked at Joe Ryan getting hurt. Who else? I've done every pitcher that was in my my chat. Let me go see what else we had here. There were some other people that wanted to get looked at. Wrobeleski, 6 innings, no runs. He's been doing it with the no strikeout approach, so we wanted to check in on Wrobeleski. We'll do that next. Dodgers. Who did the Dodgers play yesterday? I've been really losing track. I think the Cardinals still. So Wrobeleski here goes 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 0 strikeouts. Man, that's so weird. That is so weird. Imagine if the Pirates got Mune instead of Ozuna. Yeah, that would have been crazy. So here's Robo on the year. This is so the antithesis of what you see everybody else doing. I'll finish up with Burke next, Maya, and then that'll be it. All right, Robo, 5 innings, 5-0, 1.25 through 36 innings, only 15 strikeouts. So that puts him in the 2nd percentile K. 2nd percentile K. Now, normally, you would think the only way you could survive this is having no walks and extremely weak levels of hard hit contact. So he's actually slightly below average in hard hits. So then I would say, okay, maybe it's ground balls, but he's below average in ground balls too. So do I think this is sustainable? Definitely not. Definitely not. Not to say he's not pitching well. He's doing fine, and he's avoided the barrel, which is the big thing. Somehow he's allowing some hard contact, but not a lot of barrel. Only 6% barrel. But do I think it's sustainable? No, not to this level. It's crazy to have this few strikeouts and have a 1.25 in 36 innings. So anyway, let's watch it. Robo versus the Cardinals. Just from a long-term perspective, you wouldn't think you could keep doing this. He might be able to keep doing it because, you can't steal off him, or he's incredible at getting double plays. Oh, yeah, Hancock. It's all right, we'll do Hancock too. A couple more guys. So you wouldn't think so, but let's see how he did it yesterday. Base hit from Weatherholt. Here comes an out on a 4-seam.
On the ground left side, might be 2. 1 at second, good turn, and it is.
Double play, so I would expect to see a lot of double play, but he didn't have an excessive amount of ground ball in his profile either, which is interesting. Here's a 1-pitch out to Jordan Walker. Ball's well hit. Man, how does that not get out? 105.6 at 26. So 3 up, 3 down there. I mean, granted, he had the double play in the middle. Here's a sinker to Burleson. Brock Stewart due back from the IL. That's huge for the Dodgers. Brock Stewart looked great. Remember, he was an original Dodger. Kind of did this, around and around and around thing. But he was great last year and then got traded over there. So hopefully he'll come back. That'll be a big deal. All right, here's a ground out from Wrobeleski. A hit from Wrobeleski. So a couple hits here early. But then he finds a way to erase them relatively quickly. Here's a 0-2 slider. Going to be another double play, right? One. Nope, they only get the 1 out. Then here's another hit. So you need batted ball luck. I mean, my whole thing is, how's he getting through all of this without a lot of ground ball? It's surprising to see. Oh, and then they're going to get out of this because of bad base running. Rushing, hoses them to end the inning. Nice play. That was a quick. I mean, for all the talk, this is rushing, right? For all the talk about rushing the last few weeks, this actually looks like Will Smith. No, that's rushing. This is a freaking hose. Does Dalton Rushing have a cannon or what? That was quick and on target and gets his pitcher out of the jam. Nice job there. All right, 3rd inning.
When you have these deficits and how you play the game.
In the air, well hit to right, but
slider fly out to right.
Alluded to that.
Hit high in the air.
I mean, slider fly out to center. I'm just going to assume he's going to give up some damage with the profile, and he's going to have some rough outings. Of course, it's great to see him doing this, but yeah, nothing about his profile is particularly sustainable at the moment. That was a weird play. Here's a walk. And then he's going to get Jordan Walker out here.
Little chopper hit towards short, and the throw.
Once Snell is back, Dodgers' big decision on who goes to pen, Robo, Roki, or Sheen. I don't know, man. Hard to take Robo out of the rotation with the results so far. Also, not without with the big lack of whiff. Don't know how much of a weapon he'll be in the bullpen.
And that one shot to second, right at Freeland.
So that's a very good question. There's a line out.
2 nice catches. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To center.
Here's another out. Pretty well hit to center.
Could strike out
Here's a
either
hit.
Maggio or Lou Gehrig or Stan Musial in a major league season. As the Furminator, Nathan Church.
Here's another hit.
Has a single. And he has another one for Wrobeleski, even count.
And here's an out from Pages. Another pretty well hit ball. Just not quite good enough. Out to Teoscar.
And puts that away. So we'll see
Fifth
about
inning.
that. Kyle Leahy will kick things off.
Just because you mentioned Rushing's arm strength, max arm strength up 9 miles an hour over last year. That's insane if that's true. Damn. Slider here. So I don't want to be negative. I think he's getting very lucky right now. He's doing a good enough job throwing strikes, kind of pounding it. Getting some things going here, but I think he's getting very lucky with his batted ball outcomes. And wow, that's an interesting little rhythm and timing move there. Really nice play at short. But yeah, I would say it's not very sustainable. I think he's getting a little lucky, and it's nice that they've ridden this early, and we'll see how it develops late. But I'm seeing a lot of flyouts, like regular flyouts or slightly moving the outfielder back flyouts. Those are just missing pitches. So to me, I think he's got some home runs coming in his future if he continues to pitch the same way. Although he's looked bad swings here in the 6th.
Sure is.
And so is that. A base hit to left for Mason Wynn.
Base hit to left. And then he gets through the 6th inning scoreless here. I mean, no strikeouts is wild. Did get some funky contact in the 6th. But I don't see, there's only so many things you can control out there on the mound. And right now, I'm not seeing anything in his profile that screams sustainability. I mean, the walk rate's good, but it's not like it's 100th percentile. I do think the barrels will be there. The weak contact's not as good as you would have hoped. So yeah, I'm just gonna say he's doing great. I don't expect this level to continue. Maybe he can be a mid to upper 3 ERA pitcher, but it's pretty hard to dominate in the league with no strikeouts. Super weird. So that's Robo right there. Let me get back in the chat. He's talked a lot about trying to pitch like a reliever as a starter. Are you seeing that here? I mean, he's trying to be aggressive is what he means, but relievers get more whiff than this. So I don't know. He's doing a great job controlling counts. To me, that's the biggest thing. They might do a Roki Robo piggyback. That could work. Righty lefty, 2 different profiles. That could work. Josh Jung's wider stance and more selective approach. I'm not going to worry about the Ranger stuff yet. Sorry, Jacoby. Jacoby. We'll get to them. Or Jacob Young. We'll get to them later at some point. Okay, here's a good question. How are you going to protect Archer's arm? I think that what you want to do is you want to build a ton of throwing volume while they still can't hurt themselves and they're young. Obviously, teach them when we start doing breaking balls and stuff like that, teach them not to do any doorknob twisting or wrist snapping. It's about locking in the wrist. We'll probably do some very light isometric training as he grows up as a kid to just train those tendons and ligaments. But overall, I want him throwing a lot as a kid while the forces going through that arm are low. I want him to learn how to throw from every angle and build up good, healthy, natural patterns and allow his body to adapt over time. But I'm not going to be in a rush to have him be a pitcher right away or anything like that. We'll kind of let his interest dictate, but definitely throw a lot of different balls, whether it be footballs, tennis balls, basketballs, lacrosse balls, you name it, snowballs, and a very heavy volume while he's a kid. I think that's what I want to do. I think that makes the most sense. But anyway, that's my opinion. What else we got here? Oh yeah, Hancock. So we have Hancock and Burke. Throwing with both hands. He is right now. So we'll see. We'll see what develops with the righty lefty thing. I would be tempted not to let my kid pitch until he was around high school. I'm okay with him pitching, but yeah, I mean, I'll monitor the workload. We'll monitor the workload. But again, I want to build that volume before he can really hurt himself. Depending on how quickly he develops and goes through puberty, they'll have to make some tough decisions through that period of time. But while he's a kid, I don't mind him pitching and throwing a lot, but it's got to be, we just got to be smart about it. So I think that's the biggest thing. Rushing is a timely reminder that there's no correlation between athletic performance and character. How did guys like Juan Marichal throw so much and never hurt his elbow? If you watch Juan Marichal, he threw kind of catapult. I bet you he had a hurt elbow, but he threw kind of catapult arm, so there wasn't a lot of this, which is the angle, which then puts pressure on, like valgus torque on the elbow. He catapulted a lot of balls, so I think that's how he protected his elbow quite a bit. Yeah, weird to see no whiff. I agree, lefty supremacist. You would think that the whiff would come back. He's got good stuff. But yeah, it's a troubling amount of whiff early on. I know he's doing great, so it's not that troubling, but troubling for the future, I should say. All right, Emerson Hancock is next. He had a great start yesterday. I said he's been the best pitcher so far for the Mariners this year, and people jumped down my throat, but I don't think I'm wrong. He's been freaking unbelievable now that he has started to throw the uphill fastball a la Luis Castillo, so he did not pitch in this game. He must have pitched on Saturday. There he is. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 14 strikeouts. He's completely changed who he is as a pitcher. I saw it happen live on Sunday Night Baseball when I did the game, and by the 3rd inning, I said, this is not the same pitcher. This is not the same pitcher anymore. So check out the usage this year. 36% on the 4-seam. He's down to a 13-degree arm angle. You just go back 1 year to 2025. Arm angle was a bit higher at 18, and he started dropping it throughout last year. You go back to 24, he's up to 27-degree arm angle. So he's gotten lower, and he's throwing more 4-seamers up in the zone. That's where we're at now. 13-degree arm angle, 95-mile-an-hour 4-seam up in the zone, utilizing that VAA. Also way more sweepers, 23% sweeper. This year, you go back last year, he was 3% sweeper. You go back to 24, he was 0% sweeper. So sweeper comes in about midway through last year, starts implementing that. Arm slot gets lower, throws more uphill. So now he's already got a pretty good sinker movement because like when you're low, you're going to have good sinker movement. About 1-inch vert, 18 to the right. So that's very useful versus righties. But now he's got this uphill 4-seam thing coming from a 13-degree angle, and it has been electric here in the early going. Plus, he never walks you. Look at the metrics so far in the season. 97th percentile walk, ridiculous, and then almost 30% whiff. Really, really good. So he's been really, really effective. 2.59 through 7 starts, finally fulfilling the promise as a 6th overall pick. 6th overall pick. Like, this guy had big juice, and the Mariners are hitting with all these guys. Cade Anderson's on the way. They've already developed Wu, Kirby, Gilbert, and Castillo. Well, they got Castillo, and Miller. They get Castillo in the trade. So they've done a great job with their pitching over the last few years. And Hancock's another one of those. So here he comes, Mr. Hancock. And we'll speed watch his game.
In here for the Mariners starting rotation.
Big bounder up the middle. Young.
We'll see how that works out. Love Wu. Everybody loves Wu, but I think Hancock's just fundamentally a different pitcher than he was before. Here's a look at that sinker as he gets in on Bobby's hands there at about 2 and 19 to the right. So the sinker was like always a pitch that people leaned in on him, but man, going uphill with this fastball at times has been crazy. Here's a sinker to Vinny for a called strike 3. Here's what I'm talking about. Watch the fastball play up. They are nowhere near these pitches. All year long, they've been under the 4-seam against Emerson Hancock. So, big deal. You think I just like his name? You're not wrong. But it's not the only thing I like. I like his pitches, too. There's a cutter for a strikeout to Jensen. Here's a hit.
This finds a hole on the right side. A 2-out single first base runner early on today for Kansas City.
Ooh, bye everyone. I'm off to Yosemite Valley this week. See you in return. Go A's. Giants can go to hell for all I care. Have fun, Victoria. Enjoy your trip. Man, maybe he was inspired. Randy Johnson night. All right, so there's a hit. Here comes an out. So he's through 2 pretty efficiently. Beats Collins with that 4-seam. Gets jammed, flies it out. 3rd inning. Here's a strikeout on a four-seam up.
So he knows exactly what.
Man, ever since he switched to this and more sweeper, he has become a different pitcher. So it's really cool to see. You're only one adjustment away, oftentimes. You know, when you already have some pretty good carrying tools like his walk rate. He's always been good at throwing strikes. Now he's kind of figuring out the mix a little more. All right, that's a hit. Next up, sweeper to Michael.
Come a long way. Garcia.
Base hit. So this is how they score the run.
Fair by a couple of feet down the line. Man, you talk about a
Back-to-back hits. Isbell and Michael. 0-2 sweeper here. Popped it up.
Rayleigh to his left near the line. He puts that away.
And then another strikeout on a fastball. So he punches Vinny both times. This one's on a fastball on the corner away looking. And he's up to 97 with the heater. Here's a sweeper here for a strikeout of, well, we didn't get a good view of it, so we'll go from center field. Strikeout of Salvi. Gets him waving. Another strikeout with the four-seam up. You can see, I mean, from the low arm slot, man, look at that thing rise. Sick. Sick with it. Next. Another strikeout. This one's a cutter. To Jack. Down in. Nice little pitch. So cutters looked pretty good in this game too. All right. Sinker here for a one-pitch base hit the other way from Collins. Another strikeout with a four-seam. Doors. Another strikeout with a four-seam. Doors. I mean, it's just a carbon copy. Fastball up, fastball up, fastball up. Here's a sweeper to Garcia. Got a hit on it last time. This time, ooh, gets him out front. Slowed it down to 75. Wonder if that was on purpose.
2-2.
Slowed it down to 75. What's he averaging this year on the sweeper? 77. Okay, so slightly slow, but nothing crazy. Here is a hit to Bobby on a sinker. Didn't get that ball to the outer edge or inner edge, so he lasers that up the middle. Here is Vinny. Vinny's going to get on here with a hit. So 2 on, no out in the 6th. 3-pitch strikeout coming here from Salvi. First pitch, sinker. Foul ball. Second pitch, sweeper. Going to the slower sweeper, and it's working. And then third pitch, sweeper for the strikeout. Salvi did not see that sweeper at all. 3-pitch punchy there. And then we have another pretty quick at-bat here with Jensen. Four-seam up, speeds him up. He's nowhere near that. Four-seam up again. Nowhere near that again. Stick with it. This time he does hit it, but he doesn't quite get it. It's a fly out. Julio's on it. Just misses that. Wow. And then he's going to pitch his way out of it with a one-pitch out here to Jack Caglione. Jams him. Run and flip. So nice job there. 7th inning. Strikeout on a sweeper to Collins. Ooh, the high sweeper. Gets him. Man, this is a lot of strikeouts. Another strikeout coming on a sweeper. Oh, unleashes the back footer to Massey. And then he's going to finish his outing here looking for strikeout 15. Doesn't get it, but does get a fly out. So yeah, man, just another guy working in 2 fastballs. I think the low arm angle really helped the four-seam play better. More sweeper. You saw him sprinkle in the other stuff, including the cutter. But he's been a godsend for this team. They've needed it too because they've gotten off to a little bit of a slow start. But I think Hancock's here to stay. I love the changes he's made. That four-seam up's been just incredible. Looking at his run value this season, 196 on the four-seam, almost 30% whiff on his four-seam, which is really, really impressive. Getting a lot of value out of both fastballs and the sweeper. So he's kind of a new man, and he's pitching like it. Awesome job for him. Most Ks you had at any game as a starting pitcher at any level. Well, in college, if you count college, I think I had like a 17 or an 18. But in pro ball, only 9. Only 9. I never even got double-digit strikeouts in the minors, which is crazy because I struck out like 8 or 9 almost every game, but I never got 10. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Given their success developing pitchers, there's a kind of pitching free agent you'd think would be attracted to joining the Mariners. I think it's just a great place to play in general, great place to be, good organization to be with. I think they could attract them, but they've kind of cracked the code because they don't need free agents. They're just developing their own. So they're in a good spot with their own talent. As he begins to throw, it looks like he's going to come from a different slot than the one he comes from. That's also a little bit of deception for you, which I like that. Ooh, rising fastballs. Some say it's not possible. How is Sal Perez only 36 old? He used to catch Bruce Chen. Totally true. And Cade's been unbelievable so far. He's probably going to be up to the whole team. He's going to get up to AAA pretty soon. I think he'll debut later this year, but we'll see. 9 is good. What the F you talking about? I'm just saying, I never got to like the 10 level or anything like that. I mean, we just watched a guy who had 14, so not as good as him, obviously. All right, one last request. It was from Maya to watch Sean Burke on Saturday work for the White Sox. So we'll catch up on him and then we'll say goodbye. He shoved versus the versus the Padres. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts on 88 pitches. See what his season's looking like. Very good so far. 7 games, 5 starts, 39 2/3, 1.01 whip. Incredible walk rate, 5% walks. Only 4% barrels. Really good extension. Ground balls above average. Hard hit is good. Chase is good. Strikeout could be a little better. All right, Sean Burke. This was against who? Against the Padres. That's right. All right, White Sox, Padres. It's been a long stream today. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do, so I'm going to end it right after this. Padres, White Sox, Burke. All right, Shawnee Burke. 88 pitches, goes deep in this game. He's going to punch out Laureano to start off this game with a fastball away, just looking. Nice pitch. 21 inches of vert. Holy cow. Major 4-seam elevator balls. Here's a sinker. Dead zone sinker shape, but it's way different than that fastball. Ground ball to Colson, who we have to look at some point, too. He's also been quietly good, as we've been obsessed with Mune. Colson Montgomery's been good, too. All right, here's a hit to Jackson Merrill. Another 21 inches of vert. I got to check up on San Diego because I've seen a bunch of pitchers with crazy high levels of vert at San Diego to start this year. Maybe that's sea level situation. Not sure. All right, and then he's going to get Manny out with his gyro slider.
To short, high hop for Montgomery.
Taps it to short. 3 up, 3 down. Not 3 up, 3 down, but inning over. Second inning, there's the first strikeout to Xander. That's a nice slider. That held its line very well before zipping out of there. Man, tons of vert. He can't help but have vert on his pitches. 11 vert, that's more of a cutter shape. But he gets the whiff there. Here is a walk to Sheets. Yeesh, close pitch there. Doesn't go. And now Miguel Andujar. There's that sinker. Gets the ground ball. That's going to be a double play. Ah, it's through the hole. First and second, 1 out. Next up, strikeout to Campusano on that slider. Slider's got nice angle to it with his arm angle. And it looks to be pretty late.
Swing and a miss, and he goes chasing after that slider.
All right, next up. Knuckle curve to Cronenworth. Little tapper. And that's it for the second inning. Gets through a little traffic in the second. Third inning, first pitch out on a sweeper to Laureano. So we're back to the top of the order. Immediately pops it up. Isn't it amazing how guys who strike out in their first or second at bat, the next time they come up, they want to swing right away? You see it all the time. Just saw it there with Laureano. Here's Tatis. Slider to him. Still looking for that first homer. Ground ball to short. Shortstop's been busy in this one. 2 outs there, and then an out of Jackson Merrill on the curve. Knuckle curve, top shelf, back door. Another one to short. Unbelievable. 3 up, 3 down in the third. 4th inning. Strikeout on the fastball. 21 vert, man. He's got a crazy heater. He really does. This is something to note. He's got to be towards the league leaders in induced vertical break. Damn. All right, 3-pitch strikeout here to Xander. This one's a fastball away, dotted. Also at 21 vert. Holy cow. We're going to go look at that in a minute before we say goodbye. Burke. Another fastball up, popped up. Big thick legs, no doubt about it. Burke has been trending towards just spamming those big curveballs to lefties. Average is 19.5 IVB, so this is a little bit of an outlier. I mean, you can tell that's a serious 4-seam he's got. Here's Andujar, curveball, base hit to start off the 5th. Here's a sinker to Campusano. I love that he has this in his back pocket for ground balls. Jams him in the infield here for a pop-up. Here's another hit to Cronenworth on a curveball. He's got a big break on that curveball, to your point, too. A lot of drop and not a lot of sweep, which makes it interesting. Oh, look at Jared Kelman. All right, 2 on, 1 out. Let's see how he pitches through it. Here's Laureano, top of the order for the 3rd time. Slider, strike. Sinker coming off of that. He beats him a little bit, and then he's going to 4-seam him. That's a good swing by Laureano. It's just going to be right at the center fielder. Good play out there in center by Peters. That was a good swing, 104.7. So could have given up this inning, but doesn't. And then a 3-pitch strikeout to Tatis. Slider chase. 4-seam at the top. That's a middle miss. He's way under that. Another 21 vert, man. Unbelievable. And then he's going to punch him with another 4-seam. Probably get this one up, I would expect. Yeah, he does, and he's just flat out overmatched. 6th inning. Jackson Merrill, knuckle curve. To the chat's point. Lots of curveballs to lefties. Mune takes that himself. Ooh, 11 pitch at bat here or something. 12 pitch at bat to Manny. Let's skip forward here. Had him 0-2 for a heck of a long time. Holy cow, how many 0-2s? And then he's finally going to get him on 2-2. 4-seam wave away. So good battle there. Burke wins that one. And then his last batter is another strikeout of Xander. He kind of owned Xander. And that is a perfect dot down and away. He's very impressive. He's got a really good 4-seam fastball. Yeah. So he's averaging 19.3 and 4.7. That's pretty crazy. That's definitely pretty crazy. All right. Let's see here. 4-seam. Pitch movement. Vertical drop in the league. Sean Burke is 40th in total drop in the league, while tied for 37th at 11.8 inches of drop. In terms of induced vertical break, these are the leaders. Vesia is number 1. Pavetta number 2. Maybe it's because I've seen so many lifty guys pitch in San Diego. Estrada's number 4. Burke's down here at number 18 at 19.3. But that's a lot of IVB to have. So that's a good place to be, especially for a starter. I'm not seeing very many starters ahead of him. It's Pavetta, I guess Myers, Weaver, Savage, who's even higher arm slot. And after that, maybe Urquidy. It's up there, though. Very good IVB for Sean Burke. So thanks, Maya, for having me look at him. He's a pretty interesting pitcher. I really got to say, I like his curveball. I really like his fastball. Those are 2 good pitches, and I kind of like his slider. So intriguing, because the White Sox, they have a little young core developing in the batter's box. Let's see if they have him you know, if Burke can be the kind of the counterpart in the rotation. So a very interesting player. Very interesting player there. Righties took some really bad hacks at his four-seamer in this game. Man, no kidding. Really, really good. Bove is doing great with the White Sox starter since coming from Kansas City. Is that a pitching coach? Burke has had some trouble throwing strikes in the past, but he's pounding the zone this year. I mean, yeah, his walk rate is 5.1% walk. That's 93rd percentile. That's going to set your floor pretty high. So really nice job by Burke here in the early going. Burke was getting Vesia IVB out there with a 42-degree arm angle. Yeah, that's crazy because he's not as high. He's high, but he's not as high as those guys, the guys who were way over the top. I'm done right now in 1 second. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just doing probables. All right, probables right now, and then we say goodbye. Why? What's up?
I thought you were going to be done in 30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Yeah,
so many things to do.
All right, I'll be right there. All right, here's the games today. Mets at Rockies, TBA versus Sugano at Coors. Red Sox at Tigers, Peyton Tolley, Tarek Skubal. Great matchup today on the mound in that game. Well, at least a very interesting one in Detroit. Jays, Rays, TBA, and Nick Martinez, who's been on a burner. We watched him last week. Phillies, Marlins, Nola, who needs to get back going, and Junk, who's on a burner for the Marlins. Orioles, Yankees going for the sweep. Boz and Schlittler. Reds, Cubs, Petty and Cabrera. Guardians, Royals, Bybee, Waka. Brewers, Cardinals, Patrick Leahy. Dodgers, Astros, Yoshi and Okert. So bullpen day for the Astros. Yoshi in Houston. White Sox, Angels, Davis Martin, who we watched recently, and Jose Soriano. Can he keep it going? Braves, Mariners, J.R. Ritchie, third career start, and Logan Gilbert in Seattle. Also, Ritchie's from Washington. Very cool. And then our last game, Padres, Giants. Giants need to get it going. Randy Vasquez and Trevor McDonald. All right, that's it. That's all. Thanks for hanging with me today in the chat and everywhere else. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging with me today on Baseball and Coffee. You guys are the best. Have a great day. All right, adios.